everybody. Episode 104.
Hola, buenas noches.
Of the UNFAMOUS Podcast. It's your boy Sean. It's the NJ Brick City.
Yeah, this shit on this guy.
Just kill.
Henny Hardwood. No, it's not on. This guy.
This nigga says, is it on? This is another episode. Well, while we have everybody here, you know what I'm saying? Juneteenth just passed. So
Woo!
happy Juneteenth.
Happy belated.
Yep, that's what's up. You know, for the people who don't know what that is, educate yourself. I feel like we shouldn't have to tell you. That's just being real. You should know this. You know what I'm saying? You know the 4th of July and all this other shit. You should know this.
You know everybody else shit. Cinco de Mayo and St. Patrick's Day.
Oh my God. I don't want to hear this, but black people. Don't be out here talking about some, Cinco de Mayo. Bitch, you ain't Mexican, motherfucker. Like, stop it. And don't go to Puerto Ricans telling them happy Cinco de Mayo.
That's the quickest way to get sliced.
That is super offensive. Like, bruh, cut it out. What's the difference? Then they all, no, you about to go get beat the fuck up. Josh, you got that look on your face like, man, I ain't like, he do that, like, he was just looking for something like, I didn't know it was the difference.
Nah, I mean, I know Cinco de Mayo is more of a Mexican holiday.
Oh, shit, check this nigga out.
It's Independence Day.
Shit.
They saying that's not really it. That's just when it's celebrated.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just I think that's just an Americanized version of it.
You know how Americans take.
I mean, the same thing with
white people take over stuff and want to make it it's American.
This was a America. Take tequila shots.
Go back to Mexico, but leave your tacos, goddammit.
Right.
America. Before y'all leave, can y'all make some tacos real quick?
Bring some tequila and margaritas.
Fuck yeah! Come in here to say the motherfucking day, yeah. I'm sorry. The movie is hilarious to me.
I love that movie. Everybody has AIDS.
Okay, so how's everybody's week?
Mine's was good.
Yeah?
Chilling. I've been sleeping most of the goddamn week.
Oh, word?
This heat is fucking... Like, having 4 fucking seasons in one day is fucking tiring, son. Like, you wake up and it's cold as fuck, and then it rains and it's freezing, and then it's like 900 degrees at the end of the fucking day, yo. It's like, it's annoying. You got wet socks and you sweating. That is just so uncomfortable.
Damn, bro.
Like, you just got everything going on. You got frostbite, all kind of shit going on.
Frostbite and you dehydrated.
In the same fucking day.
Bro, what is going on with you?
This weather is stupid, man.
That shit sounds trash.
But yeah, everything's going good. I ain't got too much to talk about, so I'll let the next person go.
Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week. Slept a lot, far more than I probably should have, but whatever. So yeah, there's that. I learned a huge pet peeve of mine this week. I don't like victim verbiage. I don't like when I hear people say, oh, this happened to me, or I didn't have a choice, or, oh, if they would have just did this. Like, bro, no, what could you have done better? Like, to affect your outcome. It just really, it annoys the dog shit out of me, and I realized it actually today.
Okay.
So you don't think it could be factors in any situation that's outside of your control that could affect the outcome?
No, I didn't say there aren't factors, but I think that far too often we're so focused on those factors that we don't correct our own behavior.
Yeah.
Like when I hear somebody say, oh, I really want to accomplish this, but I don't have time. Do you really not have time? Have you sat down and mapped out every minute that you use in your day? Chances are you probably do have time. You're just not making time. And if you really don't have the time and you're not happy, why would you continue committing your time to acts that don't make you happy? Sacrifice. Like, shit like that just irritates the shit out of me. But today, it wasn't about that.
Shit happens every time. Jesus Christ.
Today, what happened was
is different.
A gentleman that I used to converse with for a small amount of time, a couple months ago, called, and he was just like, well, he never called me back, and, I hate that I couldn't talk to you. And I was like, we never called each other, bro. Like, you didn't call me and I didn't call you. Like, it's a we thing. I never said don't use my number. You just chose not to.
And vice versa.
And vice fucking versa. But it didn't bother me. It bothered him. So that's how I was like, well, if it bothers you, you should have just used my number. Like.
And let me ask you a question, yo. Why is being the victim seem like the wave now?
No, I'm just
yeah. I heard for it. I don't know nobody that would just own up to what they fuck ups. Like if I fuck up, I'm like, oh shit, my bad, I fucked up. But some people fuck up and be like, well, these are the excuses, but that's not an excuse. I'm like, that's exactly what that is, an excuse.
Yeah.
Like, if you give me a reason why you couldn't do something, then that's an excuse. No, I'm just telling you why I couldn't do it, which is called an excuse. That's the definition of a fucking excuse. Like, own up to it. Like, I just can't stand that shit.
My thing is, I mean, it's okay. I mean, if you're telling somebody that you couldn't do something, yeah, it's still an excuse. It might be a valid one or one that's not valid. That's how I look at things, too. Because you can have a valid excuse like, hey, this is why I couldn't do
But don't say it's not an excuse.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm not saying that's like you're on fire. You're like, oh, I'm on fire. Like,
wait, what?
No, I'm just inflamed right now. Like, stop using different words to try to fucking, like, no.
Like, stop trying to dress it up, basically.
Yeah, that shit's annoying. I can't stand people do that shit, yo.
Well, I guess what he's trying to say is, I mean, I guess you could say it's an excuse, but it's really in whoever the recipient of whatever explanation you're giving them, whether they feel like it's valid or invalid, is how it's going to go from there. You know, like, if a situation come up and you tell them why you can't do it, in your heart you feel like it's justified, you don't feel like it's an excuse. But to the other person on the other end, they're like, I ain't trying to hear that shit. You supposed to get this done, and you didn't get it done for whatever reason.
Well, I mean, the one thing that I've been raised on, like, people who've met my grandmother, like Ajay, he's met my grandmother, you know what I'm saying? The one thing she would say, and she drilled this shit into my head, excuses only satisfy the person who makes it. Like, that don't make me feel any better what the fuck you telling me. Mm-hmm. So you can tell me this all day, every day. What are you going to do to change the outcome? Because you can tell me what happened, but hey, that happened. It is what it is. You didn't do what you're supposed to do. Let's go ahead and move forward and try to change.
So that's what irritates me. Like when I hear things like, "Oh, well, this happened," or whatever. Like, okay, those things could happen again. So what are you going to do to change the outcome? Because you can't change those outside factors most of the time. Like even in a relationship, if something goes south or whatever, and you say, "Well, this person did this and blah 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 X Y Z," and maybe that person is obviously the most wrong in the situation, you can't change their behavior. So the next question is, what can I do? What can I change about me? Yeah. And we're so focused on outside factors that it's like, you don't even look at you, and it burns my soul, dog. Like, I don't know why.
You know, the way you
it burns my soul.
The way you explain it, victimhood goes hand in hand with the definition of insanity. People are doing the same thing, expecting different results without trying to change things.
Yeah.
So those things kind of go hand in hand the way you lay it out like that. And I mean, too often that's the case where we become complacent in our situation, but we complain about it, but we don't take the steps to change.
Absolutely.
But the thing about it is, when you tell somebody that, they get offended. Like I tell people, like people want to call me, like, "Oh, son, this and that." I'm like, "Then do it." "Oh, I'm tired of being in Charlotte. I need to move. I need to get out of here." Go.
So move.
Alright, so you act like it's that easy, son. I do it every 5 years. What are you talking about?
Let's keep it funny. How about this? It's so easy that I did it.
You know what I'm saying?
And even if it's not,
but I got kids and this and that. You the first person to ever have kids. Congratulations.
But even if it's not, if you're not happy, you should still be willing to do something. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not happy, then
change
your
fucking situation, yo.
It just like because a friend of mine, we were just talking, and this was a while ago. We were talking, and she's like trying to get back into her field of expertise, and she's not really happy where she is, all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, so what you doing? What you doing? Oh, well, XYZ, ABC, I'm putting in applications, talking to people, yada, yada, yada. Okay, you've been doing that for a while. Nothing really coming up. So what else you doing?
Nothing.
Well, I feel like I'm doing everything I can be doing. Okay, what about this? What about that? What about this? Oh, I didn't really think about that. We all talk every day. If you felt like you were stuck, you could have been talked to us and said, "Hey, guys, any other ideas, blah, 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 XYZ. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, because at first when we were talking, she felt like I was attacking her. And I was like, listen, I'm not trying to attack you. But what I'm saying is most times we're not doing everything we could be doing. Most times. But when you're in the situation, you don't see that.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I think that goes to the circle of people you surround yourself who will be willing to give you alternate,
Yeah.
Sometimes people not in the circle of people, they might be around a lot of people who are ignorant and how to resolve things or they on some other shit, and so when you talk to them about certain things, they don't have any ideas, the input, or did you think about this?
Yeah.
Did you think about that? But if you surround yourself with people who I feel like can elevate your level of thinking or can expose you to things that you didn't think about before, I think that's really a downfall. A lot of people is the people we surround ourselves with.
Like grandma say, watch the company you keep.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that brings a reminder of something. Y'all want to go? Because I want to kind of start something.
No, go ahead. Well, I mean, we'll still go through our weeks, but just go ahead.
All right, it's like, you know me, I hate fucking memes and people that think meme like and rapper like. I can't stand that shit. But I be seeing motherfuckers say shit like, oh, if you can't get whatever money with the people around you, they change the people around you. Like, oh, if you got 4 friends and y'all can't start a business and y'all should be friends. It's dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not friends with y'all to get rich. I'm friends with y'all because I like y'all.
Right.
like everybody in your circle don't need to be business. Be there for business.
Because you can grew up with a guy, you know, from childhood, and then all of a sudden when y'all become adults, oh, you ain't got no money to start a business. I can't fuck with you no more.
Thank you.
This man might have been loyal to you. Somebody you talk to on your downtimes, he lifted you up. You never know how he helped you out besides financially.
My best friend in New York right now, I know he has $1 million. He would not admit it. He got his business running. We're talking on making moves together, but I'm not friends with him. I didn't meet him at 13. Like, yeah, he has a bright future. I'm gonna be his friend for 30-something years. Yeah, I don't give a fuck how much money he got. He's
I
my
don't
friend.
think it has any. Like, I don't like that. But what I would say is, and this is something I appreciate about all of like my circle of friends, like the different circles that I have. I feel like they all have something that I admire. That I'm like, you know what?
And y'all all fine too.
I could be.
I don't like that shit.
Okay, I feel like.
Okay, moving on.
I feel like they all have, like every one of them. I can look at them and say, you know what? You have. It's not even. It doesn't even have to be something tangible like money or whatever. It's like, okay, you have this trait, and it's something that I really admire in a person. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm in situations, I'll be thinking, okay, what would Amanda do, or what would Haley do, or what would Angel do in this situation, or just being able to have a conversation with people who know you and will challenge you. You don't have to have money to do that. You know what I'm saying? And it could be a point where, you know, you the person that's challenging them, or you the person that's there to help them elevate. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I think a lot of them memes, I mean, I look at them, and some of them have some great insight, but some of them are so financially focused that people just attach the financial aspect. When it's deeper levels, the friendship is just the money involved. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
True.
Yeah, everybody know me. You know,
I'm not watching us. What's up, mama?
I'm not chasing that dollar. Yeah. I'm not chasing that dollar. I'm chasing happiness. The moment I'm not happy, I'm fucking gone, yo.
Yeah.
I'm proving that time and time again.
That makes a huge difference. Like, I remember before I finished my undergrad degree, I was, like, my freshman, sophomore year, I was hell-bent on going to medical school. I was like, yep, I'm going, I don't care, I'm about to make this money. Like, that's what I was thinking. And then I took time off and started doing, like, financial literacy coaching and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, I kind of like this shit. This is cool. And then someone asked me, they were like, well, why are you going to medical school? If you like math and you into finance, like, why are you going to medical school? And I was like, I just feel like I can make some money. Yeah. And, like, my professor, or doctor I was working with, he was like, listen, if that's why you want to do it, you're going to be miserable. Don't do it. You might as well just be an engineer. Like, don't do that. You're going to waste your money. So, the moment
people die.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit.
Well, that part didn't really bother me. It was the bureaucracy that bothered me. Like, all of the politics, all that shit. Like, I can't rock with that. Like, not in there. Like, if I'm going to deal with that, I might as well be in somebody's corporate office if I'm going to deal with politics. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But after that, everything fell into place. After I found my passion and I followed my passion, everything fell into place. Like that. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and to what, you know, I don't want to keep beating it, you know, what we talking about, but to what Ajay was speaking about, you know, if you can't have 4 friends to start a business with, sometimes that money attests loyalty, the friendship. So y'all might start a business, one of those friends might find a better opportunity and leave y'all hanging high and dry without y'all knowing. And he probably wasn't your friend to begin with.
That sounds familiar.
That sounds extremely fucking familiar.
And don't they always say you don't mix money and friendship?
Yeah.
So I don't understand that fucking plight. I'm like, yo, like when I read this shit, I was like, shut the fuck up. Like I can't, yo,
Yeah.
Memes make me so fucking mad because that's somebody's real thoughts. But they try to play it off like, no, I just post what I want. No, you really mean that.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And you're
Some
not
people live
rich
that
at
shit,
all. Like, I'm pretty sure I have way more money than you. Like, I know you.
Exactly.
Chill out. I know you work.
Yeah.
But the thing about memes that
annoys me.
The thing about memes that annoy me the most is a lot of people post on memes and don't even live the life that those memes say. They just spit it out there just to sound great, but you don't even live by it.
Because it's likes. They want the likes.
Pretty much.
Because I know plenty of people talk that boss shit, and I'm like, nigga, you still stay with your mom.
Exactly.
Like, and now look, this is the thing though, and this is crazy part. I be looking like, and somebody be like, oh, is that a problem? No, it's not a problem. No, it's not a problem.
But
if that's what you're living your truth, right? But you're not even living your truth.
But I think it's a question of being
borrowing money from your moms and sisters.
It's a question of being caught up in ideals. Like I know someone right now, and I called it like that's how I describe this person. I'm like, oh, that's an idealist. Like even if their life doesn't match up to what their ideals are, they still hard body believe in those ideals, and it's like, but why? Like why would you do that? Like.
There's no reason.
Obviously, that's not right. Like, that doesn't
You don't
work.
have to be a fucking millionaire to be my friend.
Exactly.
You really don't. You see,
I'll pay for you to get in the club. I don't give a fuck as long as we have a good time.
I mean, if you want to be my friend, you can be my friend. You know, if nobody else want to be friends with you. So.
I mean, that's how I look at life. I mean,
what the fuck are you
I would
talking
prefer
about?
if you could.
If you're
Are you talking to me?
No.
He's
I was about to say, like,
no. He just repeated what you said. And
I was about to say, my only requirement.
Actually, I didn't repeat what you said. I'm saying, millionaires, if you want a friend, I'm your guy. That's what I mean.
You sound like you.
All right, until they ask you to do some weird shit.
Hey, let me shit on your chest.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That happens. That's the thing.
I'm
Yes.
just saying.
Yeah.
In Dubai.
Well, wait.
No, in America.
What up?
That's
This nigga's a Muslim. How much are they paying? Like, nigga,
No, that was a real life question on horrible decisions. They were like, how much would somebody have to pay you for you to let them shit on you? And the girl was like, it was like, wait, are we talking about like the hard shit or like the diarrhea shit? Because that makes a difference.
You can't control that.
Yeah, you can.
And like if I'm sitting there with a stomach, it's 12 million?
I ain't Mexican today, so I don't know what you're going to get.
I'm like,
all you heard is,
So you have Taco Bell today?
I'm not sitting there discussing
That was
this.
a real thing.
I'm
They
like,
was
yo,
like,
listen.
that make a huge difference.
If we sitting at the table with me, you're like, listen, I'm going to give you 12 mil. Is it soft shit or hard shit? Like, bitch, I don't know. It's going to be shit.
Yeah, it's going to be shit.
It's going to happen.
You want these diarrhea dollars or not?
Try to get these fucking...
not diarrhea dollars.
Try to get these butt bucks.
Oh, story time. Real life story
What,
time.
this
Real life story
cheap
time.
cash?
So in my sophomore year in college, right? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna find me a sugar daddy, like a real life sugar daddy, real life shit. Like I was like, yeah, I'm about to get a sugar daddy. So I went on the site, like for real. I went on the site. I made the little thing. Yeah, sugar babies and seeking arrangement. I did both. So we was like,
Josh, why do you know that?
I heard. Remember, I heard
so
Ashley
we
talk
were
about
like,
it one
all
time.
right, word. So I made a little site or whatever, and like it was some. I never really went through with it because I was like, damn, I'm gonna really have to fuck these people, and that like fucked me up because they weren't
Oh, you want
cute.
to give up
Like
that sugar?
if he was fine, sure, but they, you know
Okay.
what I'm saying? Like they were rich, but not
fuck
fine
that.
enough to fuck, in
You
my
can't be
opinion.
Rich and fine and buying.
I don't know,
That's on
but
the
anywho.
athletes. Well, I don't know if
So
they fine,
this one
but
guy, he was like, all right, well, we don't really have to have sex, but I have a different kind of request. He was like, I had a girl that would do it for me, but she got married, so you know we're kind of not. And I was like, okay, so what's the request? And he was like, okay, don't think I'm weird. And I was like, oh shit, okay. So he was like,
start off like that,
right?
No.
And then he was my cousin. He was white, so you know, white people weird is like.
Oh, yeah.
It's some other shit.
Yeah.
So he was like, I can't really explain it, but I'll send you a video, like the last video that she did. And I was like, okay, bro, real nigga shit. The girl would shit on a paper plate and like rub it on herself. I'm not fucking lying, dog.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like,
Oh shit, two girls in a cup.
shit. Bro, one girl in a paper plate, dog. And I
Hold on, she would rub her own.
she
shit
would rub her
on
own
herself.
shit on herself, and that's what he liked to look at. And I was like,
Two girls in
bro,
one cup.
I immediately deleted my entire account, bro.
Do you know?
Like,
Do you know that's a
yeah.
thing, right?
It's a thing.
People are infatuated with
It's
shit.
a fucking thing.
Hey, that's
Call
called
it Liddy.
Especially-
Wow, yo.
Especially like,
Lenny always
like a
was
thing
bored.
in like Brazil is like farting, like fine chicks is farting on each other.
They
and
like,
shit
Oh man, no, that farting shit is. I'm done with that.
Yeah, everybody doing that shit. They doing that shit.
It's like that's ain't that the new video going
I
around?
don't know,
Like,
but
Right,
it's
stay.
No, no,
Everybody
no,
watching
no,
that
no.
shit
What up? We'll get to that.
no, I don't even want to
Look,
talk about
we'll
it.
get to that later. But
later in the day.
you know what? We'll jump back to yours in a second too. Josh, how was your week?
Oh, my week was great.
Let's get this out the way because I feel like we got some shit we got to talk about.
Shit?
No.
High fives out here. High fives out here.
You see what I did there?
So basically, I've been really this week. Like I started like kind of a week ago. Been fucking with the CBD and shit, and I've been researching that, and found out some interesting information about it.
Are you trying to get into the business? Because I know somebody who's trying to start a business.
Oh shit, she sound like that.
Actually, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't mind it.
There's some money to be made in that.
Yeah.
When I went to California, I met a guy, and he's like, "This is his fourth time starting a business."
He was like, "Hey yo, hey, what's up, lady? Where you staying at?"
He's an old white guy.
Oh, so he was like,
but he's super cool. Like he's done time in defense. Like he's been a part of a motorcycle gang. Like he's ran guns. Like he's lived an entire life. Like he was in the military at one point. Like he lived an entire fucking life, and now he like has a wife, has millions, and has adopted kids from Colombia.
Motorcycle
he's fucking cool as shit. Shout out to Tom.
Post military. That's where they all start from.
yeah.
But yeah, he cool. Like super cool. Go ahead.
Yeah. CBD.
I just had a joke in my head.
Want some crack? I got you.
CBD oil. Let's go.
I know somebody.
I know y'all been on y'all shit, and like I wanna fuck with it, but like
Nah, son, I fuck with it.
So basically,
There's that shit.
I'm gonna take this.
you alright?
Appreciate that.
Man, whoa, you good?
What you got going
I'm
on?
eating. I don't want to.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know.
you just like.
I thought you were laughing. I'm like, what is that?
Who eats like that? Like nigga, who eats like that?
Yeah, I thought somebody fought it.
That's that granddaddy burp right there.
Oh shit, you gotta take a hit off that G.
Yeah, I'm about to. Go ahead. Keep talking about the CBD.
All right, so basically, I've been researching it and shit, and there's less than 0.3% THC in it, so it won't show up on drug tests or whatever. The cannabis plant has sativa and indica.
Well,
Indicas.
before we go, because they do have some where it's THC free.
Yeah.
And they do have some where it has like a really, really low grade. The
Really low grade is called full spectrum.
Yeah, the one I fuck with, no THC in it.
Yeah, that's what this is. This
so
is
I don't,
THC.
because God forbid with our job.
Yeah. But even with that, you would have to smoke you got to smoke that shit all day, every day for it to like.
Yeah, but I don't like to take any chances when it comes to our job. But
this basically, this what I got right here is no THC, but it has the benefits of the whole cannabis plant, where it has it's these enzymes in plants called terpenes, which give it like oranges, give it their scent and their flavor. Yeah. Every plant has. So with certain grades of CBD, they use certain terpenes from different plants to give it a flavor and an aroma.
Yeah.
Right. So it just depends. They have different ones depending on what you're trying to get done. Like if you want to focus, if you want to sleep, if you're depressed, anti-anxiety. So I ain't gonna go deep into it because I'm still researching it, but it's pretty interesting. Like the different aspects of it and the health benefits of it. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it's not FDA approved because they have it still. It hasn't been federally like legal yet.
I mean, but they selling it. Ain't nobody stopping them.
Right.
Yeah, you can't.
Yet.
Nah, they ain't gonna. I don't think they.
As long as no THC in it.
Okay. Oh, I know Joe's here. Lord.
As long as no THC in it, then they, it's legal or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've been doing my research on it, and it's pretty good. Like this strain right here is 350 milligrams of CBD, so it's pretty potent, and this right here kind of helps you sleep, relax, or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want something that'll help me relax.
Right. This has indica in it. The sativa in the cannabis is more for focus and it's kind of energizing. The indica plant is more for relaxation, sleep, things like that. And this strain
that's
right here.
That's what they call it, in the couch. Stuck in
pretty
the couch.
Much, yeah.
Shut up.
No, that's some real shit I learned. It's called stuck in the couch.
Yo, the sad part is it actually does make sense, though.
Yeah.
But
I might start fucking with it.
Did they have like the gummies?
Yeah, I like the little thing you got.
Yeah, this is that's a
little starter, basically, like a startup one.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to fuck.
But this is,
Yo, Joe's here.
The fuck was, bro? What are you doing? What? No more. Why do you have a tiger playing?
Joe's here.
I hate you.
I thought it was a bird.
I did too. Like, damn, bro.
Yo, Joe.
What's
up, Joe?
Hold on, how you doing?
Damn.
Why the tiger roars so I can play as soon as Joe walked in.
Man, your white privilege is about to be revoked, bro.
Damn,
you scared the shit out of me. I really thought this nigga was burping. I'm about to say, bro, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm understanding, bro.
Bro, I
was drinking.
Bro, I'm about to tell you, you gotta stay off them birds, dog.
Birds.
Stay off them birds. Oh, Joe.
Do it.
But
oh, you can stop at any point now.
Jackass. But
speaking of which, y'all.
Oh, we'll get on that in a second. But nah, man. Like I said, I've been fucking with the CBD shit too. You know, shout out to Big Brother Joe. You know what I'm saying? He put me in the game, but like Ajay, I know they got the edibles and all that shit, and I heard those work very well. You also still got, like, even if you didn't want to go that route, you got the kava. You know what I'm saying? Like those pills, those actually help. Like I take those before I go to sleep. I'm out. Like I'm relaxed. I am out after I take that shit. I want to get some of that CBD cream for like my wrist and shit, and my elbows, like knees and shit. That shit works. I swear to God, it works wonders, dog. Like for real. Yeah, that shit be working.
Most people, I don't like medicine. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody now got fucking diabetes.
Wait up, you have diabetes?
Oh my God. Y'all know I hate.
Diabetes.
Don't want to prick their finger every day and I gotta put a needle in my stomach every day. That shit is fucking. It don't hurt. It's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find natural things and shit like that. So I gotta do all that shit, yo.
I don't know if this would help with it, but maybe. Why not?
No, I do. No, I'm good with it. My shit is controlled.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if I can find an alternative to not. Like, I'm not going to cure it, but just be like, well, all right, let me... Like, it's a different method that I don't have to do this shit every day, every 3 times a day, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That shit gets annoying. It's more... Diabetes is more annoying than it fucking hurts. Like, it don't hurt at all. It's fucking annoying. Like, all right, I got to this and that. You got to do math problems and shit and fucking carry the tube. That shit is fucking annoying as shit. Like, niggas don't know, like...
No, I get it.
That shit is fucking annoying.
It's crazy, like, ever since we found out that I had diabetes, like, I've been along this shit with them. You know what I'm saying? Just, like... You know what I'm saying? Just... Let's put it this way. I don't have any ailments or anything like that, right? But I'm like, yo, this is my friend, this is my brother. I want to go through this journey with him to help him, you know, be as calm as, you know, as he can, figure out whatever we can do to help him, whatever it is that I can do to, you know, make his life easier. I'm like, yo, I'm with it.
As I drink alcohol. What that shit be doing?
Yeah, you really shouldn't, but, you know, you grown, do the fuck you want.
Nah, but son, you know I done lost the weight. I do the exercise.
You did a lot of shit because you a fat fuck. So, yeah.
Fucking changed my diet. All that shit, yo.
Yeah, he did. He did take the steps, and that's one thing I could definitely say.
And like I'm like, even like when I go to the doctor, she's like, "Oh, your muscle mass is that." She rubbing on my shoulders. I'm like, "Lady, are you about to catch his dick?" I'm sorry. I knocked all this stuff down.
Nigga, do this with keep your hands down here.
Is it like Ricky Bobby?
Yeah, like he does not know what to do.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Exactly, son. Like, yo, nothing is safe. Kids thought them shit's about to be safe. Nope. You better eat them. You better eat them shits. You better eat them junks.
Eat what?
You better eat them junks.
I don't know what the fuck going on this table.
Yeah, I will not.
They ain't doing nothing sexy, y'all.
I don't
know what podcast
with
Girl,
have a cam girl show.
Like,
they probably got the porncast.
Nuts and Butts podcast.
Damn,
whoa.
Exactly. Whatever. How was your week, man? Let's get you out of the way, man. Shit. Let's get you out the way now, because Bree talking about some dead Oz growl, like, god damn it,
Yes, I did.
He ain't growl. Fuck him. How was your week, man?
My week has been swell.
Wait, what? Swell?
Yes, swell.
Swollen.
Whoa. Wait a minute.
Oh, is that because Nikki's not here?
No, she just left like 2 days ago.
Oh.
We've been actually hanging out, so that's good.
Oh, you been clapping cheeks. That's all.
Now you been fat.
You been out here. So you been out here blaming the yams?
No.
Ah, you wild.
But
that wrister twister.
Hey, what?
Okay.
I can't deal with this motherfucker.
That's a new one.
The wrister
Twister.
Bro, where the fuck you come from?
All right.
Well, I'm sucking bubbles. Go ahead, bro.
More fun than a pillow fight.
Y'all ain't good tonight.
Bobby, twisted, fat.
Go ahead.
New funding.
What's the max amount of time? I need your max jerk off count.
Whoa.
24-hour period.
You know
Oh,
what?
okay.
Who's winning?
Who's winning?
I think
Who's
we're gonna save that one for later.
I'm about to say I'll go first. I don't.
Let's get through this shit first.
Oh yeah, let's get through this shit. Bro.
Cause we gonna hold on to that thought.
Yeah, we got some wild shit to talk
Like, don't bust that nut. We'll be right back.
We'll come right after these messages.
Somebody's drinking those nuts.
You sound like Rick and Morty, dog.
Right.
All right, Morty.
Wow.
Oh, jeez. You're kind of wild, Rick. Oh, jeez. You need to stop. He's like, oh, jeez.
Oh my God, Osman, how was the rest of your?
Yeah, how was your week, bro?
Oh yes.
Fuck.
My week was very well. What did I do?
Nothing.
Brother, I'm gonna tell you to shut up. Shut your mouth.
Okay.
Anyways, I had a dandy week, you know.
That's a big ass ass on that bed, man.
I had a dandy week. He said dandy. What the fuck?
Yo, y'all fucking me up.
A dandy week?
Yes.
Okay.
Dandy. As I was walking my dog, I came across this pothole and I reported that to make sure I'm being a person in my community. So.
I'm about to be real racist right now. Everything about this story sounds white. From dandy to the pothole to the dog.
Yeah, I'm about to kick you off the mic, bro.
To the brother.
She's
Like,
extra male.
not that. I'm
Ain't
just
nothing wrong with
saying.
that,
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong
You
with
can sprinkle a
it.
little Lowry's in that motherfucker or something.
Oh, you ain't got no hot sauce?
Yeah, you got no Texas Pete?
Hey,
Excuse me.
can we get some Miracle Whip?
Actually, I just
Red Rooster?
I've been YouTube searching and like seeing a lot of crazy shit. So like, this is one game coming out. It's called was it Cyberpunk 2077?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That shit has been getting me
that
fucked
shit
up.
lit.
So that shit was supposed to come out like 10 years ago.
Yeah, but the thing is, so they're attacking that shit, right? So they're saying, oh, we don't like the way you guys portray Haitians in this because there's a group in the game called was it is it the animals? There's some animal shit or whatever.
Animals.
No. But this is it's like they're a group in the city that's like a Haitian gang or whatever. So the guy who's the creator for this is a black guy. So he created this whole story. Right? So all these SJWs and shit, it's like they're coming out like, oh, you know, we don't like how.
What are SJWs?
Social justice warriors, like
Oh, okay.
all those people that try to defend people that don't
For no
care
reason.
about.
Oh,
So
okay.
Haitians be like, yo, we in a game? Oh shit! Like that's what they're. Every Haitian is like, oh shit, we got a game coming out and shit. And people was like, oh, we don't like how you portray transgenders. Like they had a transgender model in the picture, and it was being over sexualized. But at least they had a transgender
Bruh.
in the game.
What over sexualized? Like,
So there
like
was
was
a so there was a
like, were they
picture.
in a bikini or?
No, yeah. So there was a picture of a transgender on the wall,
Uh-huh.
and it had like a bulge in the front.
Oh, okay.
No, just like they were wearing a bikini, but it's like a
Oh,
bulge.
so it was like they hadn't fully transitioned. It was like,
Well, see,
So it's a, for one thing, let's get it clear. It's like the next Grand Theft Auto.
oh, okay.
So
It's like wild.
but
fucking
think about kind of like Blade Runner
inappropriate
shit though.
Yeah.
It's on a Blade Runner level of like futuristic shit where everybody kind of basically has body modifications.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody got like a robotic arms. They change the parts out. It embraces all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like even in character creator, you can make you whatever gender you want. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. But people still find reasons to complain.
I mean, they don't have to buy it. That's
That's what I'm saying. It's like everybody's like, you know, attacking the game.
They
for
better
that.
be
It's
all over Pornhub talking about how shit gets sexualized. They
like,
better.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm
better
trying to
fucking
figure
be
out-
on
I'm trying to
Pornhub
figure
doing
out
the
why
same
people
thing.
have a problem with a Haitian gang or Jamaican or whatever.
Listen.
When in Grand Theft Auto 3, I remember playing it and there was a Yardie gang in there
Yeah,
that was on some
get
goon
mad at
shit.
that
Ain't nobody say shit then.
I don't know. People just trying to
Different
get
time.
People just trying to get offended for a lot of shit, and I was like, you know what? I'm done. Like, you can't even make something out of your image anymore, and everybody perceives it a different way, and it's like, oh shit, that's not.
Like,
I don't like
this
how
how they
is.
want. It was like, oh, every Haitian in the game should be a doctor. Fucking video game.
Right.
Yo, suck
If
12
you
dicks
don't
8
like it,
times.
make your own video game
Suck
and make it
12
how you
dicks
want.
Yeah, but that's what I've been
times.
saying. Is like
That's
all
96 times.
all these people that's trying to push these agendas actually need to stop trying to tell these developers and shit how they want this shit made.
I
Make your own
want the
shit.
game as long as I can shoot people in the face and fucking do shit I can't do in real life. Let's rock.
I mean,
That game look
I
dope
can
as fuck,
understand.
yo.
I can
There
understand
was a
taking
Haitian
issue
game
in it if
Grand
it
Theft Auto
was.
Vice City too. I'm sorry, Lenny had said that.
I can understand taking issue with it if it was forced on
And
you,
Grand
but it's
Theft was
not.
one,
You don't
right?
have to buy it.
Oh, Vice City, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, but that's been my week. That's all I've been.
Yeah,
looking
fucking
into.
video game.
Shit.
It's a fucking video game. That's fucking. I'm gonna play it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, look nice.
Try it out.
We can't complain as Black Americans like, hey, why and Grand Theft Auto they're all gangbangers, like, because they're all gangbangers. Okay, yeah, you're right. All right, it's a lot of them. I'm sorry.
Well, first of all,
Sit down and shut the fuck
First
up.
of all, the game is about crime, so why the
Thank
fuck would
you.
you? Why would you care if they
Why
were
is there-
gangbangers?
why is there no
It ain't political.
So it'd be
Prostitutes
different.
in
Look,
this
it'd be different if I'm playing 2K and I'm like, bro, why is he like,
Why is he throwing up sets? My
why
mom.
is he shooting niggas on the court?
Actually, that might
Oh, this is a
That would
fucking
be a
rim?
problem.
Oh,
That'd be
okay.
a cool addition to the game.
Why you got a bandana as a jersey? Like,
Exactly. What the fuck,
What the fuck is this?
you're right.
Damn, he pulled his dick out? Like, what game is this?
Latin Kings, nigga.
Right.
Let's stop getting mad at dumb shit. That's all I ask.
But,
We got bigger shit to be mad about.
That's what's up, Oz.
We got real life shit to be mad about.
Real life shit.
Really,
Not
real
even
life
bigger,
shit.
just real life.
Yes.
Just real life.
Things. But,
Not getting mad at video games.
but yeah, man.
Y'all went around the week already?
I'm the last one.
Your last one?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. But, my week was, regular work. Nothing, special really going on. Was supposed to go to fucking, distillery and shit today, but, you know, that didn't really get to happen, you know.
Fucking lightning
You know, that
storm.
rain and shit, I was like, fuck it. So, me and T, we just kind of chilled out, watched TV,
Bria like Bristol
laughed
Twister.
and shit. Yeah,
Shit
she
like
did. Other than that, you know, I'm just trying to get everything situated for next month for my little trip for my birthday and shit like that.
Ooh, where you going?
We just going to Atlanta.
Okay.
Um,
You guys should go to the Botanical Gardens while you're there. They have
Probably
a
will.
Alice in Wonderland exhibit, and if you go on a Thursday, they got like drinks and free chef samples and shit and little games that you can play.
she's
Like
listening.
22
She's
bucks
listening.
for 2 people.
Is it part of the gardens part of the like the city pass thing?
Oh, I have no idea.
Because that's what we were gonna do, get the
Oh.
city pass, so then we could just see all these attractions and
Oh,
shit like
yeah.
that. Like
And
wherever it
you gotta
is.
go to the African American Museum out there too.
Oh,
The
we
Civil
on it.
Rights Museum, I mean.
Oh, we on it. We
Yeah,
on
that
all
shit
that
dope.
shit. So. But
And go to Martin Luther King and just hang out there.
I'm not going on that block at
Going
all.
on Malcolm X Boulevard?
Nah, bro.
Is that one and the
But-
same? Is that one and the same?
What?
The Civil Rights Museum and the Dr. King Museum?
I've been to the Dr.
Separate.
King Museum.
Well, they have
Where
a
you go to
huge-
his house and his old church and all that. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay,
pretty
yeah, that's
dope.
separate. But they do have an exhibit in there for Dr. King, of course.
But nah, man. Other than that, like I said, it was just a real chill week. You know, it was Father's Day that just passed. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, shout out to all the fathers. You know, my father. You know, shout out to him. Even though he really wasn't around, but then the man who did raise me, Charles Staten, my grandfather. His birthday had passed also. God bless the dead. So it's it's been one of those couple of weeks. Couple of days or so where I'm just kind of like I'm a little out of it for certain situations, but for the most part, I'm pretty good, because it was my grandfather, it was my father, you know what I'm saying? That's just how I always looked at it. So, other than that, man, it's been a pretty decent week, man. I'm just ready to get this next couple of weeks out of the way, man. I'm ready for the 4th of July. I'm gonna see what that's gonna bring.
Ooh, I'm going to a concert.
Are you gonna be gone on the 4th? Like, what day are you leaving?
Friday. That's the 5th.
Oh, never mind. We'll talk about this later then, because we weren't gonna record on the 4th. We was gonna record on the 3rd.
Oh, okay.
which is a Wednesday. So I don't know if everybody will be down with that, but
I'm good
with that.
I could
But other than that, man, like I said, I'm looking forward to my birthday. This is the first time in a long time I'm actually looking forward to my birthday. I don't care about my birthday. It's usually just another day to me. The most I want to do is be able to get drunk, and when I was single, get some pussy. That's all I wanted to do. Get drunk, get pussy. And that if I didn't do but one of those things, I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just another day to me. So this time, it's like, all right, I'm actually spending it with somebody. I'm actually doing something cool. She's excited about it. So, it's dope. And she's doing a great job, figuring out, where we can go, get a hotel from and the activities we can do. Like, that's her thing. Like, she is literally a travel fucking planner, Like, that's what she does. So, I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, man, my week's been all right. What's up, Joe? What you got? Because I know you got something to say, G.
Well,
Oh, shit.
Assalamu
that was an epic pause.
Fuck, hate you.
Salam.
Yes.
Salam. Hate you, bro.
You gotta be extra ignorant.
You say about salami?
Shut your ignorant ass up.
My God.
Assalamu mayonnaise. All respect. All praises due. So, it was a good week. Like I said, Father's Day.
Yep.
It was good. It was relaxed. It was nice seeing the little cars and things from the children, my wife, and all of that. So, you just have a good meal and relax and just be do fatherly shit, I guess. Then, of course, you can think about the person that raised you. My father, instrumental in spirit and in physical form. What else? June 19th was the day my mother transitioned. This is the 5th anniversary of her transitioning. It's a very powerful day this year. It usually is always powerful, but I felt very vibrationally strong that day. So
Okay.
that's when you have you don't have any trauma related to that. You know what I'm saying? It was a very good relationship. So that all this happened at the same time. Just this week, John said "See You" yesterday on Netflix was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
think it was great. That was a good look on that.
I gotta go
Just
check
on
it
a
out.
side note, that was a great Netflix show.
Okay.
This shows the scientific, scientific prowess of young people, and that black people particularly. I just think about the fact that we created a GPS, the cell phone, due to 9 patents for the personal computer. But when people think about technology, they think about Indians and white chicks, white men,
Japanese.
but all of the shit that we use every day, cell phone, GPS, and computers, we invented that shit.
Well,
So-
actually, Japanese just capitalize off that shit.
no, we can't. But I'm saying the brains behind
Yeah.
When you
I
start
know what you
something-
mean. I know what you mean.
when you start something, the basis for technology. Even if you go back to fiber optics, that was also black. Dr. Graham T. Woods. So just when I watched the movie and I just thought about that, I was like, people look at this, they forget how intelligent. GPS was a black woman, by the way. Gloria Mae West, right? So Gladys Mae West. So who's still alive? And that movie was great for those reasons. I just thought it was really key. That we,
And then, they kept it so Brooklyn that it was mad Caribbean. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah.
how Brooklyn is
yeah.
it's mad Caribbean. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, black people. Like, no, listen, it was people from this culture, islands you don't never hear about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just felt that was dope that they do the Caribbean aspect. Like, yeah, Brooklyn is a real big Caribbean community and shit.
You don't see Ghanai's flags outside of Brooklyn.
Yeah, they just had the straight Guinea flag just chilling. So.
Yeah, I didn't know Jamaican flag, but it's just nice seeing the you rarely see that West Indian culture in an American film, really. Like everybody's from that diaspora, but when you look at the inventors, they also are from the diaspora.
But you know what I thought was funny about it is I'm not giving away nothing about the movies. Like, they can only go back 24 hours.
Yeah.
You know, black people, we're not going back that far into history.
Yeah.
We don't got no reason to go back to the 20s. Like, nigga, like, nah, I'm good. Let's stop at 1989 was good. Let's go back. I ain't going back.
I ain't going before 1968.
79.
We might want to skip the last 500 years before that.
Let's chill out before we go back to,
too far. But it was great. It was a wonderful movie, but not to give it away. But it's
what's it called?
See You Yesterday.
It's a sci-fi. On the surface, it looked like a sci-fi time travel movie, but really, it's a social commentary movie.
Oh yeah.
Once you watch it, you'll see why.
They disguise it.
Spike Lee.
Yeah. I realized that to the credits rolled. I was like, oh shit, it's Spike Lee.
Yeah,
but yeah, like it's a good movie. You watch it, all right, then you're like, oh shit. That happens.
I kept passing them by because it looked like a child, for like preteens. Yeah. How it looks.
Then you start hearing them cut like, fuck you, nigga, motherfucker. I'm like,
not until he said something. I was like, let me watch this shit.
Yeah, I gotta watch that shit.
Nah, for real. Like, I thought it was a teen movie like Joe until I watched it. They were like, yeah, motherfucker, fuck you, nigga. I beat your ass. I'm like, oh, this ain't a teen movie.
What the hell said nah? I'm like, what is it nah? Put in my Netflix account. You know what I'm saying? But now,
now you're like, oh
shit.
You know, it's another one, a good one. I'm gonna cut you off. Y'all seen The Black Godfather?
Yeah, I talked about it last week.
So
wait. I want to give that a round of applause. Yeah. That movie was good. Like, that documentary was good.
So I've never heard of him.
Yeah. Me neither.
And everybody was like, yeah, this is not.
What's up, Brenda?
It's so dope that he was that important, that powerful, and just kept it on the low.
Yeah.
And he from the Carolinas. I was like, yo. They was like, yo.
Yeah, he from North Carolina.
And that motherfucker curse your ass out quick. I'm like, that nigga's everybody drunk uncle.
That was the thing that I liked the most about it.
He looked like he still drink Cavassier and Coke 45.
Yeah. No, he's like, I just like a little wine with ice cubes. Yeah. Your boy
Quincy Jones Quincy Jones sick.
He's like, Quincy like, who the hell puts ice cubes in their wine?
Why would you gotta be from North Carolina to do some shit like that? Hell, that shit happened.
From Climax, North Carolina.
I think you heard of Climax, North Carolina. Shout out to them.
Yes. Yeah. Son, that shit is so lit.
I highly recommend that.
Walk in a room and they be like, well, who the fuck is this? I'm like, oh, y'all here because of me.
Yeah. Son, I think my favorite part of that shit was who was it that was hitting about to break Babe Ruth's record?
Hank Aaron.
That story. They
was like, niggas drink Coke.
He just walked into Pepsi. I was like, niggas drink Pepsi too. I was like, what? That nigga walked in there like he didn't give a fuck. Like he was like, he taught Hank Aaron like, yo, get your bread.
It was Coke. It was in ATL. That's what Coke.
Atlanta. Yeah. My bad. I thought it was But yeah, he was like, he just walked in there like, niggas drink Coke too. We got thought about. I was like, cause in the South,
niggas do drink Coke.
No, niggas didn't drink Pepsi because them crackers will hang you for that shit, yo.
Yeah.
So he let them know, like, yo, we get this nigga a check, and he's about to hit this home run. Y'all gonna get these, like that whole shit. I was like, cause I wasn't gonna watch it. I'm like, I don't know who he is. And the minute that shit started, and they started telling the story, I was like, hold on. Yeah, I'm about to watch. Shut up, bitch.
That's how. But the thing that I like the most about that movie is, or that particular person is, he didn't conform to trying to kiss white folks' ass. Like, hey, son, you got whiz.
He did the opposite.
He did it his way, using his own personality. He didn't change for nobody, and he got the ultimate respect.
Yeah, and they said he had mob ties too, but he didn't put it out there like.
Right.
Like he
learned from the mob guy at the beginning, but
like that shit. That shit was one of the best documentaries I've ever seen.
Yeah, that shit was dope.
They was talking about like this niggas you never knew. Like I didn't know who he fuck with. Damn, I didn't expect like all the rappers and Diddy and all of that respected him. It was like he'll curse you the fuck out. He was like, man, it's just so many times he just cursed motherfuckers. I was crying, son. I was like, that's the old guy I want to be. Just
I was about to say, that's a die superhero, dog.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, he reminds me of somebody.
That's a superhero.
You know who he reminds me of? Remember Ed we used to work with?
Yeah.
That's who he reminds me of. Like, yo, I'm unapologetic. I'm gonna talk to you, but I still love you though. He's like, yo, I still love you enough to talk to you.
But when these crackers around, I'm gonna play it professional. Even though I'm 7-year-old with cornrows straight to the back. But Ed used to tell me like, He was like, what's the new hot shit? That's when Kendrick came out.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, you gotta listen to Kendrick. He's like, man, y'all know y'all my young guys. Y'all gotta keep me cool.
Yeah,
I was like, my bad. Hey, he said, y'all just telling about this Kendrick. I just heard about this shit today. Motherfucker, he cursed us out for like 10 minutes because we ain't put him on Kendrick. I'm like, I didn't know you was on that shit. I was like, man, y'all know y'all keep me cool. Y'all keep me young because Ed got the bikes, cars, everything. So
I missed that.
I was like, my bad.
Another thing I want to say real quick about that documentary is my favorite part was when they was talking about how he broke down the game. So what he would do is he would put you on, but his whole thing is he would show you your role and what he's trying to do, your responsibility, and the main thing is to teach other people how to do these things.
Yeah, and wouldn't charge
each one
nobody.
teach one. That's where that, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I was like, that's dope. You know,
and everybody was asking, they was like, yo, did he ever charge you? He was like, he never charged us nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like he put us on, he'd put them in a room with the right people and just leave.
Right.
And it was like, he ever charge you? Like, no. He's like, the average motherfucker that do some shit like that is gonna charge you. Like, my bad. The average motherfucker that do is gonna charge you. It was like, everybody was like, nah, he never charge. He's like, you ever charge you something? Like, nah. Like this nigga discovered fucking what's his name? Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis?
Yeah. So he discovered what's his name? Bill Withers, all that shit.
Yeah.
Bro. Like that shit is dope to me on how like even when he was talking about they put the concert on, right? And then Sammy Davis Jr. come out. Everybody boom, this and that.
Like basically think about Kanye West. That's how Sammy Davis was looking at.
Sammy Davis is like, yo, I'm still black at the end of the day. Like I still ride for y'all. Just because my political beliefs might be different from yours, I'm still black, dog.
And they sung that song and they was crying.
Niggas out there crying like they was on his shit. I was like,
That's some wild shit. That's powerful right there.
That's powerful, dog. Like
that shit had me going crazy.
That's a talented dude.
His whole gift was the art of making a deal.
Like he wasn't even like, you know, the average, like these days, somebody in his position, like, let me put out an album. That nigga was like, nigga, fuck out of him in the background. Yeah. And then when he went broke, everybody, all his friends was like, come on,
we got you.
We got you good.
He also put on Don Cornelius. Like,
yeah, son.
The show,
yo.
And
it was,
they tried to put
Unlimited.
Yeah.
And that was the point I was looking for.
Yeah.
How was he going to react to that? Because Don Cornelius was lit then.
Yeah.
He was like, even his white homeboys came was like, yo, we got you. Bye.
Like,
everybody just loved him up
don't
the
owe me
strip.
shit.
That's what respect. That's what you call respect.
Son.
Yeah,
that shit just moved. I've never been so moved by a documentary ever. I was like, damn. So like, I didn't know what Kanye said. One man should have all that power. He had all the power. He's like, he didn't abuse it.
No.
And it wasn't just entertainment and music. This motherfucker knew presidents, Obama, Clinton. Clinton was like, yo, he got, if I wouldn't be, you know.
He was like, Clinton was like, that's my man. So like, Clinton had the most stories about it. He was like, yeah. He's used what we call purple language and like, come on, Bill. We know
you want to say nigga and motherfucker.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, you like,
I smoke the weed with him. Yeah, we know you want to say it.
He was like, you know, where these hoes?
You know, my wife going up for re-election. I can't say
he was like Johnny Cochran was to the legal film.
Mm-hmm.
Black people. He always wanted to uplift that segment of black society.
Yeah.
And he did too in his own way. You know, it's a wonderful testament. And I always talk about people who fuck with politics only or social justice people and how they don't generally like to fuck with business. Like they want to separate it. Like when Dr. King got killed, he was killed because he started to combine business and social justice together.
Yeah.
And unifying everybody, not just one race, but everybody. And that's danger, right? So he seemed to be living that without really being out there politically.
Yeah.
So I like that for all kinds of reasons, but
yeah, but that shit just had me proud,
Yeah, that was some dope.
Like I'm speechless, son. Like I just don't know the words to describe that. That shit was just so dope, yo. So if anybody listening watch The Black Godfather, like I've never seen. I don't say I've never seen, but just to see a black man so respected by everyone, just off his character, not because he had the most money.
Right.
He was the richest dude in the world. But just off his character, he just kept it 100 with people. Like, people fuck with him. He'd sit you down like, yo, sit your dumb ass down, let me talk to you, tell you some things. And niggas had to listen like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
That was dope.
Hopefully one day I can be that inspirational to someone. I don't need that to everybody, but at least one person. I'm like, yo, sit down, let me talk to you, teach you some things. So, yeah, I just like that part of it.
Yeah. Well, I did want to talk about this tonight, since it's super duper really fresh. The NBA draft, right? Shout out to Zion Williamson.
Zion from South Carolina.
Fuck
out of here.
Spartanburg.
And the boy Jay Morant.
From the Bud.
Ja Morant.
Shout out to him. And this is so crazy. So I'm watching it, right? And we already know what's gonna happen. Like it is what it is. So he gets everything, gets there, and he's talking. I forgot what her name is, but he's talking to a lady, whatever it is. He's talking, and then I'm not gonna lie, yo, that shit had me so choked up watching that because I'm like, yo, I've met him before. You know what I'm saying? Like he came through the airport one time. Like it wasn't nothing crazy. We ain't really like I
chopped it up.
Like we didn't have a super long conversation, but just from his vibe and his energy that he puts out, that is a good kid.
He's just a young country boy.
He's a really good kid. He has great energy about. He's very humble, just real chill. To see him start crying because he made it to the league and all that, and got his mom, bro, that shit had me feel some type of way, dog. I was like, dog, like this shit is powerful. Like this man, from the age of 4, he's like, yo, I want to play ball. He's living his dream, and he's happy because he don't have to be happy to go to the Pelicans. That man is happy. Like, yo, I'm playing. I probably shouldn't even be here right now. Mm-hmm. That shit choked me up, dog. Like for real. Like I don't get too emotional about a lot of things. That shit choked me up, dog. Like for real.
When he was in high school, did I not call you and tell you look up this kid Zion? You was like, yeah, I heard about Zion out here.
Yeah.
Son, I was watching since he was like 10th grade. Like my nephew put me on because my nephew the same age as him. Well, he probably a little bit young. But my nephew was like, you never heard of Zion? I was like, nah. My nephew I watched every week when they had a game on YouTube. I watched that shit. That kid is ridiculous. He look like a grown man playing against toddlers.
Yes.
And everybody was like, nah, I don't know. He from the country. Son went to New York and bust niggas' asses, son. Everybody thought he was just all dunks. Like, nah, he went out there and balled against some of the top. You know, everybody up north basketball is
life.
Yes,
that's life.
He went out there and balled with them. That's when he solidified himself for me. And this was like 9th, 10th grade or whatever. Like, yo, this dude was crazy. And then he came back, nigga had trophies, winning slam dunk contests, all that shit. Like I said, I've been on Zion. I've been telling niggas about Zion, like, yo, this kid is nice. Now he developed a little jumper. He don't need to shoot from half court. 5'10" footer, he good. Because that's gonna open up, he's gonna drive the lane and bang on you. He's gonna be banging on big ass, grown ass man, and I'm gonna be screaming like a hoe. I'm not gonna front. I'm getting a Zion jersey. I don't give a fuck.
Son, I'm getting one too. I gotta get one too.
We don't got too much.
Screaming like
seriously. That's why we gotta support it.
Well, look, anybody who know me know I hate Duke with a passion. Like, I don't like nothing about Duke. But, you know, Zion you have to watch him. Must watch TV. Like, he's the only person who would make me consider watching Duke games, just really because of him. And,
what's up, Keena?
It wasn't just about his dunks or whatever. The thing that stood out to me about him was just his passion for the game. Like, he was always excited to play. You know, you could tell it wasn't just he wanted the limelight. He just enjoyed the game, you know.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, and he really got a lot of respect from me when he got hurt and people was like, oh, he should just sit out and wait for the NBA draft. And the first thing he said when he came back, when the lady asked him, why'd you come back? He was like, I got to be there for my brothers, man. I can't leave them hanging, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I respect that. You know what I'm saying? It's about the game, his passion for the game. It's not about notoriety or money with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that'll come along with it. But he enjoys playing the game. He didn't want to leave his boys out hanging. If he healthy, he want to play. So that's the part that stood out to me about him.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to RJ Barrett. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, all them.
He gonna ball too.
Like, all these boys, like, all these young men, you know, Ja Morant, like, yo, to watch all these dudes, I'm looking like, it's dope to see, like, I don't know, like, this time around, it just seems like these boys, like, look, man, we coming from something. You know what I'm saying? Like, we feel like we probably ain't even supposed to be here right now, but we are. We're living a dream that most people don't get to do. We about to make this shit pop. We about to make this shit bubble. I love that. I love that type of vibe.
And not even the NBA draft, the NFL draft too. Like any draft where young men get to take it to the next step and feel like they get to, you know, support their family and do something they love to do. I applaud that.
Well, like I said, this one resonated with me a little bit more. Like, I was telling T this too. I was like, born and raised, you know, Irvington, New Jersey. I spent 15 years there. I spent another, maybe 16, 17 years down here. I identify with the Carolinas more than I do with New Jersey, which is crazy. I'm still a Jersey nigga at heart. It is what it is. That's just me. I get excited when I see shit from the Carolinas. When I see people from my state doing something, you know what I'm saying? Like being positive. That's why I'm a big fan of Charlamagne. That's why I'm a big fan of, Chadwick Boseman and all these other people. When I find out somebody's from the Carolinas, I'm like, I'm supporting. Let's go. Let's do this. I got you. I'm behind you 100%. Let's do this. Until you prove me wrong, show me why I shouldn't be behind you, I got you. You always got a fan in me. You always got a supporter in me. So when I see this young man, like I said, I met and I see who he is, and when I talk to him, I'm like, damn, dog, like the coach he ain't got no plays for nothing else other than give you the ball, right? He's like, yeah, pretty much. I was like, God damn, like, son, why are you dunking on all these kids like that? He's like, yo, what else you want me to do? I'm like, that's what it is. And this is when he was still in high school. So I was praying like, oh, this man go to Duke. I swear I hope he goes to Duke, because I'm like, the best thing for him, go to, Coach K. Like, why not? Goes to Duke. Could have won a championship, could have won a chip, but he didn't. It is what it is. Yeah. But, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I can't even remember who won it.
Virginia.
Virginia won.
Yeah. Nah, they balled out, though.
Nah, they deserved
it. They had that defense.
Yeah, they had
that defense. They was shutting niggas down. But go ahead, my bad.
But, I mean, just the vibe I got from him, like I said, he's such a cool kid. You know what I'm saying? To see him, finally live his dream, yeah, that made me feel, some type of way. Like, damn, that's dope to see this young man, get somewhere in life, and he now has a chance to, number one, put on for the Carolinas, and number two, show everybody, I'm about to show y'all that I'm a fucking monster out here. Like, how I feel about, like, LeBron or some shit, it is, he, big ups to him, all respect to LeBron. This dude is about to eclipse him.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
Nah.
I don't look. The way
I don't go by potential. I go by what I see. I haven't seen him play.
No, I get what you're saying.
Because everybody was saying, LeBron about to eclipse Jordan when he came in.
Yeah.
So it's like, I got to see you play. I don't go by potential.
But at the end of the stuff LeBron did, like, I mean, of course,
I'm just talking about what they said when he was coming.
Yeah, I get what you're saying on that part. And I get why they said it too, but at the end of the day, it's like, bro, you had X amount of years to eclipse somebody, and you still didn't eclipse them. So
who's this?
LeBron. Like, bro, you came out in high school. You should have been eclipsed Jordan if that was the case. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, he's right in the conversation.
Yo, he's definitely in the conversation.
He's right there. He never had a Pippen either, right? So other than Kyrie Irving was closest. So I mean,
that was
I mean, Jordan is more than his skill set. It was a moment of time he was in.
Oh yeah, it was
coaching.
Yeah, of course. It was everything.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame
coach. A lot going on, but I will always respect LeBron James for, like you said, put aside all the other flopping shit he does. the real life shit, like family and
great dude.
Put his friends on, and
I think he's awesome
living up. Like I was there for Felipe Lopez. He was legitimately looked better to me than LeBron did in high school.
I want to talk to you about that too, because I saw that.
But he lived up to that, but Felipe looked better at the same age.
I gotta talk to you about that one because I watched it.
I think he started off because KG was too nice. KG, Felipe was on Minnesota. When KG got there, it was over because that nigga was the kid, the big ticket, blah blah blah, from South Carolina also.
Shout out.
But he also got hurt that year.
Yeah, so that didn't help him.
And
then Starberg showed up.
Yeah,
and it was like, it
was really the injury, but my point is
I remember everybody was putting Felipe over Marbury because Felipe went to college and Stephon Marbury didn't. He can't. No, he was at Georgia Tech. My bad. Georgia Tech. But he was just such a big star from Brooklyn, and Felipe from Brooklyn. I remember hearing more of. I remember cutting school, going to Coney Island because niggas was like, oh, Steph and them out there because he used to ball with the same dudes all the time. They go to the courts and just ball, and everybody come out there like, oh, Steph and them balling. He's like, we got next. I ain't never played. Fuck that. I'm like, but like, we just went out there to watch because we from East New York. We had to take the fucking whatever train to fucking Myrtle Beach and all that. Not Myrtle Beach, fucking
damn, I was like, God damn, where were you going?
We're Coney Island and everything.
System.
But yeah, like shit like that. So, but everybody knew Felipe. Everybody knew Felipe. Oh, Felipe gonna make it. Nobody was talking about Steph. I remember Felipe was in Slam magazine and everything. Steph, he was in there, but he wasn't really on the cover and shit like that. Then he got to Minnesota. It was over.
Jeez.
It was so seeing him, but yeah, it's good seeing people that like Zion and Ja Morant who weren't only not on the radar because they didn't grow. Like they were kind of short still. Yeah. In the middle of high school, he had. I think they both had a growth spurt.
Well, I don't know. I'll put it like this: Zion.
In ninth grade, Zion was like 5'9". He had a growth spurt.
He had a serious growth spurt.
So they didn't. He wasn't even dunking until like the 10th, 11th grade.
Bruh.
So like same thing with Ja Morant. He just wasn't. He wasn't even dunking in 10th grade. So people just they didn't. I think he was still 5'10", 5'11" going into senior year. So. The Sea's ascension is great from something. My sister lives in something, South Carolina. Like he's from some little ass town like that, and do his thing. I mean, it's good. It's good and bad a little bit because it's like you have. I think in the total history of the NBA, there have been 3,000 players that played in the NBA. Mm-hmm. The whole history of the NBA. So it puts you in perspective the hundreds of thousands of people who play the game.
Damn, only 3,000.
3,000 in a 50-year history.
Is this the nigga Huddy? My bad.
Yeah. So.
My bad. You know, I gotta get him.
For real. So it's good for the families and the players, and I wish them all well.
Oh hell yeah, man. I mean, like I said, man, it was just dope to watch it. I mean, you know, I'm watching it with T, and she's just sitting there like, okay, so watch it. You know, what's dope about him and this. I love a woman that is like, you know what? I don't know about this. Teach me. Because I want to. No, to me, that is the sexiest thing in the world.
I'd be like, yo, shut up.
Well, see, that's him. I'm different. I'm different. I love that.
I'm good. I'm going to explain my
Because my thing is like, for her, she's like, yo, I just want to know about it. So then when I'm watching this with you or something like that, I'm not just asking you a million questions at that time. Teach me now. Let me know what I can figure out now. Okay, should I watch this dude? Okay, why should I listen to that? Or why is that dope? Why is it? I'm like, okay. It's like, yo, you don't have to even be into this. She could easily be like, I'm not paying you no attention, which is fine, and I wouldn't even care. But she was like, no, okay. So, he doing this and that. Like, even when it comes to, like, UFC fights. Son, she really, like, she be, Amanda Nunes and Holly Holm fighting, so that's going to be a good fight because blah, 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 and Holly Holm be just, I'm like, yo, she really be on it. And I'm like, that is the sexiest quality about somebody. You know what I'm saying? They're like, hey, I'm willing to take on some of the things that you are into just to be a part of it. But go ahead.
I know how you feel, and I agree with you.
I
agree with you. But
the B word.
Don't do it to please me. If you're genuinely interested in it, let's go. But don't do it be like, oh, what you doing? You watching a game? Oh, what's this? And you asking 82 questions. I'm like, yo, listen.
No, and that's what she has.
Wild annoying.
She don't do that.
Don't do it because you pleasing me. Just. Because that might be my time alone. You might go ahead and do something you want to do. That gives us time to miss each other. So when I'm done doing what I'm doing, doing what you're doing, hey, baby, let's do something together. But don't do it just because you feel like you pleasing me. No. You can give me a hand job to please me. You don't got to pretend like you like fucking soccer because I'm watching soccer. Which I do often watch soccer. Shout out to the U.S. women's team is fucking kicking ass. And, but like, don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mind teaching you and telling you stuff if you're genuinely interested. But say it don't work out between us, and now you go to the next thing like, fuck soccer. Like, did I just take all that time to teach you that shit so you could not like it again? Yeah. Because the next nigga don't like it. Like, nah. If you genuinely don't do it to please me.
Yeah, I agree with you because I mean, like me, if I'm chilling with a female and she put on some Real Housewives of Atlanta or Love and Hip Hop, I'm not interested in none of that shit. Yeah. I watch for a little bit and they'll tell me like, yo, this is such situation. And I'd be like, okay, that's cool, but I'm not really interested. But they'd be like, oh, why don't you watch it with me? You might like it. No, I don't want to watch it. You watch it, I'm going to do my thing over here. Like, I don't know how to fake it where I'm not interested in some
Thank
shit.
you.
Like,
I just feel like
I'm just not interested.
That's our time to miss each other. Go ahead, do your thing. I'm going to watch what I watch. Even if you come to the crib and you just laying up and I'll give you the remote. Go ahead, watch what you want.
Right.
Nah, you sure? Like, nah, I'm a chill.
I mean, but sometimes women really are interested.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they are not.
But
But if you just don't do it to please me.
Right. I feel what he's saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I see what you're saying, but my experience is most women, they ain't gonna fake it either. They either like it or they don't, right? I mean,
Hopefully.
like Keisha, yeah, in all matters. So, like, you know, like Keisha would like basketball more than she would like she's not gonna like baseball.
Thank you.
You know
All
what I'm
right,
saying?
let me put it another way. Don't like my team because I like them.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, you be like, I'm a Cam Newton fan and Steph Curry. Like, hold on, they're not in the same state. I don't like. You just like who everybody like.
Right.
You
The
just
first,
like
thing the first thing I do when I talk to females, they be like, "Oh, I'm a Carolina Panthers fan." I'm like, "Name 5 players on the team: Cam Newton and
for his friends.
come on, stop it. Right.
The offensive
Ray
line.
Caruth.
I mean, I say I'm a fan, but it's not because I know the people. It's because I'm from South Carolina, so by default.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be a fan of them though. They trash.
I mean,
Damn,
I'm
Because I'm
from
like,
here, so
Cause you tell me
that's
I'm
all
like,
I'm
what's
gonna
your
do.
team?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a Carolina fan. And when I say I'm a Giants fan, then when the season starts, you wearing a Giants jersey of somebody I don't even know. Like, I don't even know that nigga. Like, why you?
Like, what up?
She gonna have a Kerry Collins jersey on. Like,
Nah,
they
they
only
would
get
be
fucked.
that, son. They be some shit that you like, bro. This man don't even play in the sport.
He's retired.
Wayne Gretzky.
You wearing a
Got a
New
Pele
York-
jersey on with the Giants.
You wearing a fucking New York Rangers jersey. Like, it's red, white, and blue. Like, bitch, I got this off eBay.
Like, what up? That's Stone Cold Steve Austin? Like, what the fuck they made this shit?
Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, like, if you want to spend that, if you just want to spend the time with me watching it, cool, just come spend the time with me.
Shut up and watch it.
But don't get mad when you watching some bullshit. I don't watch no reality ratchet TV, none of that
I don't
shit.
either, so.
So you be like, oh, don't watch hip hop loving so and so. Nah, I'm not watching that shit. I don't like to see all beautiful black women fighting and splashing
Oh,
drinks
nothing.
and doing dumb shit to each other.
I
don't
I
like
don't
that
watch
shit.
it on TV. I don't give them the ratings, but I have an illegal site that I view from time
Yo,
to
you
time.
ain't shit.
my
Look,
God.
kid, you ain't shit, but I support pirating. You know what? Give me that. I like pirating. I like pirating. I'm a
It's a
pirate.
win-win for me. I don't feel guilty. It is
Exactly.
what it is.
Kind of
Yeah.
loophole, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Look, we all about that
That's what
pirate
I
life.
do.
What we got next on the docket?
Exactly. What you got, kid? Because I know it's something you wanted to talk
Hold
about.
on, I'm just saying I'm about to slide. Y'all know I gotta be to work tomorrow.
Oh, I got you. Don't worry about it.
Shout out to
Appreciate
everybody
you
for listening.
being here for this episode. Thank you.
Bye.
Y'all be good.
All right, my brother.
On the next
I say, Joe, you can get on that one then.
Unfamous.
Or somebody can. So everybody got one.
Darren, you trying to come over here? Come on, Darren. Come on, Darren. You always be sitting in the back, dog.
I would say.
Oh, shit, somebody say something?
Oh,
I'm
shit,
mad I'm
man.
leaving. This nigga said nothing.
You missed Amanda and them last time.
Yeah, you did.
That nigga look nervous, like, oh, I don't know that. I don't know.
Scared,
You
dog.
don't need to be nervous.
He used to be in the background,
Like-
dog. Alright, cool.
Oh, he said he's not unfamous no more. It's famous.
Oh, shit.
Famous,
Oh,
famous.
spoken like a little brother.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
What? Oh. I was like, what the
Yo,
Built to attack her.
son. Her face was hilarious. She was like, like she's like, where my taser?
Oh, you wasn't hugging me. Shit.
What the fuck? A job?
Hello, sir. Go ahead and represent yourself.
Oh, yeah.
All right, what's up?
Who you be?
I'm Darren.
All right.
Darren.
Darren, what you looking for?
The headphone. Oh.
Oh, man. You been on Code 45, bro? You don't know. Yeah, bro. You was nervous, bro. That's all right, man.
Darren,
It's
ain't
cool,
you
bro.
driving home? You
Yeah,
better
I'm not.
shoot.
I'm not in
Lift the mic up a little bit, man.
Talking too much. You get used to it. It's
He looked
Bro.
like, man, I don't know
A
what I
little bit
signed
closer, a
up
little bit
for.
closer. Pull it towards you a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Ah, there you go. See?
Grab it and yank it. You
Whoa.
Yes,
You
you
guys are
Y'all
wild.
are out of control.
That's
You guys are out of control.
Go ahead, Kia. I'm sorry.
So yes, y'all know I love watching politics and the shenanigans that happen.
Shenanigans. What happened?
Reparations.
Let's talk about it.
Reparations.
So I first of all, it is interesting to me that this is the what they've chosen to make a huge topic with this upcoming presidential election. That's always interesting to me.
Oh, this is going to be a major topic?
Yeah.
Reparations?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, there's a couple of Democratic candidates who are being very vocal and
You think they're pandering for the black vote?
what.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing: the black vote isn't really what they need to be pandering for.
They really don't need it.
They need to be getting some of Trump's base.
Yeah, they
the
need
people
them.
that whoever that could be. Because I mean, shit.
Wow.
Most of the black people didn't vote for Trump in 2016,
Well, I don't know
and he still got voted for.
I don't know if necessarily they need Trump's base. They need people who in the middle who they can sway to their side. Because Trump's base is Trump base.
I mean,
I
yeah,
don't think
those
they
people.
gonna sway.
Well, that's what, when I say like, I mean like the people that voted for him because they were looking for something different. Like they were like, oh well, maybe you know what I'm saying this will change it, and it didn't. You know what I'm saying, like those people. But I digress. Yes, reparations is a huge thing, and so I just wanted to know what everybody thought about it. And when I say reparations, I don't just mean give everybody of African American slaves a check.
Hell no.
I ain't getting one.
I don't want no
this.
check.
I mean, like
Not from so.
whether that's reinvesting into certain communities, education, socioeconomic literacy, that kind of thing. Like, as a whole, how do you feel about giving the black community a quote unquote?
Okay, here's the thing. All that money they can give to us, they can put into other things. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying?
Here's my first thing. Here's my first thought. I think, first of all, what they need to do is change the literacy books, public education, as far as slavery. It needs to be some kind of African American literature, African American historical, factual things that are just in basic public education to educate, black kids from the inner city, to let them know you weren't just slaves in America. Like, you were kings and queens before you came here.
Yeah.
And I think things like that I think it needs to start there at the education level for kids to change educational curriculums as far as implementing more African American history into them. That's just one of the things, but that's one of the things I feel is very important.
Cool beans.
Go ahead, Joseph.
How much time we got?
Joe, everybody else gotta answer the question.
Everybody else
too.
gotta go, Joe.
Everybody else, and no, you can't go last. No.
Go right now.
We gotta be concise. You gotta learn to be concise.
You got about 15.
You gotta learn to be concise with your words, Joe.
Alright, here's
Like a
this.
tweet, 140 characters or less.
4,000 characters.
Nigga, this ain't no Facebook post.
You know you like when I talk.
Long as he's talking nice. That's all that matters.
Yo, wild. Oh my gosh.
Talk to me nice. So, yeah, so like, okay, reparations is a complicated topic. For one, history is not understood here. Truly how things happen. The number of, if you're talking about slavery by itself, you got it. Slavery as we think it existed, it didn't exist like that. There were plenty of white slaves, black slaves. The main issue with reparations is the fact that you're talking about the land that was taken away. We own more land in 1850 than we do now, right?
Yes.
So, talking about the land that was taken away by violence, through trickery, through other methods. You're talking about the fact that this continent was populated with black folks before anybody, 1,000 years before anybody got here with slavery. So you're talking about, every other continent has a monarchy. There's no monarchy here because those were usurped many years ago. So you're talking about lineage here, right? One side of my family, I'll trace back here hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Other side, I'm tracing back through the Caribbean. I trace back a few hundred years with that. But before that, what is it? I mean, were we kings and queens? Okay. We had a monarchy like anybody else had in every other continent. But when you're talking about reparations, what you're really talking about is the land, the bloodlines that were eradicated, mixed together. You're talking about redlining. You're talking about mortgage fraud. You're talking about civil rights, lynchings. What we experienced here. Any one of those events, like when the Japanese were imprisoned during World War II for 2 years, they got reparations.
They did.
So any even the crack epidemic is reparationable just by itself. Because that's facts. I mean, they put it out there.
Yeah.
They know what they did and what the purpose was, and this shit could have been worse.
Yeah.
What about crack epidemic without fucking Michael Jackson? It might sound silly, but in the moment, the one thing that was fucking phenomenal was the music that was coming up out of it, out of the chaos and out of the ruins, right? So reparations to me would look like, now a check is a check, but how many of us could say, okay, my grandfather so and so was a slave on this here plantation.
Yeah.
How many of us are linking back to that?
Not many of us.
How many of us really know that we've always been here? So when I say the Americas, those islands, the people they show you, that's not how most of the natives look. So that's another problem we have. We don't realize that we've always been here. So what money can you owe somebody when you're taking a continent? Because gentrification didn't start in Brooklyn or in Charleston. They were gentrifying. They gentrified this whole goddamn continent. Actually, they gentrified Israel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So this is old news. So we're talking about we shouldn't be. I feel we shouldn't be taxed not off slavery, because if you talk about slavery, you gotta talk about white folks, because a lot of them were slaves too, as far as being paid next to nothing. Because on both sides, the Confederacy and the Union, black folks fought on both. That Confederate flag, you know who created it? Black men. You understand? It's not what you think it means. You understand? So would you think a black person would create a flag if you really thought the war was about what you think it was about? No. So it was more a war of social classes, a war of climate, North and South climate. Which industries will prosper? The North only cared because they couldn't grow crops all year. The Industrial Revolution was starting. So they care more about who's going to buy their goods when black men and women have most of the goddamn skills. And then you had the unions come in. So you got to know what history was really about, because what they teach you in school is complete and utter nonsense. Everything about logically. Would white men fight and die that much in the hundreds of thousands so your ass could be free? Get the fuck out of here. Never. Not just for that.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So
I don't believe that.
Not at all. Yeah. And black men were on the Confederate side as well. So in huge numbers. Yeah. So when you talk about reparations, to me, if you don't focus on the shit that happened before slavery really started and the shit that happened after slavery, you gotta put all that in there. Because that was real money taken, real lives lost, and we should at least not pay no goddamn taxes. We should at least not pay for college. Things like that by itself would be a big deal, because a lot of us go to the military to pay for school. A lot of us work jobs to pay for school. And, at least we should have that. You know what I'm saying?
Something.
How much would the check be? Who would you give it to? You know what I'm saying? So every single person, a check by itself is not going to do it, because that's not how other things are done. You talk about Israelis or Jewish people who were getting reparations, they get increases every year. In some cases, they get monthly checks. Right? Every Jewish person that settles in Israel gets a check from the U.S. government. You don't know, $100,000 or more to settle there. So all these things are reparations. Israel is there because it was a part of their reparations package. It was created for them after World War II, right? All these things are reparation type things, right? So if we're really serious about it, now they can talk about it all day. It sounds good. And they do need a black base, because we didn't vote in number. And that's one reason why, even though she still won the popular vote. He still won. So, like, if I'm in New York, right, and I vote, the Democrats gonna win New York all day. But if I'm voting in New York, my vote counts less than in a state that's a swing state. Like, my vote in Florida was a whole lot more than my vote in New York.
Ohio was a crucial state.
Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Florida means much more than, like, every state, your votes are equal in.
Yeah.
Because
weird.
If I'm in Cal,
it's gonna stay blue. It's gonna, like, Texas gonna stay red.
Yeah.
Cali gonna stay blue. New York gonna stay blue. But them swing states.
yeah, if you're in a swing state, your vote definitely got to count.
Yeah.
But if you're not in a swing state, you want to vote, but somebody got to show me that they're going to do something more than talk about reparations, and that's my general view of reparations. I could talk for long.
We know you.
Oh yeah,
we know.
Your 10 minutes is up. Your 10
I'm
minutes
just
is up.
listening. I just want to hear everyone's opinion.
Me personally, I don't think that they would do something, as far as like money. I don't think we need that. Like everybody was saying, as far as like, putting something back into the community, or even like you said, maybe, not paying for school, or at least us getting some type of tax break, or, uplifting, the community in a way where, it's not so bad for them, I guess in the hood, let's keep it funky. Me personally, I look at it like, the best form of reparations that I would think would be like giving us that level playing field now. Cause I'm like, at the end of the day, we can do all that, but we still not gonna be level. You know what I'm saying? So when, in the business worlds and all that, when you still got people got that upper, they got that 5 or 6 steps ahead of us, and it shouldn't be, especially when some of us are way more qualified for a lot of this shit. Let's make this shit level now. Now, the right person for the job will always be chosen. If it happens to be a white man, that's fine. He's the right person for the job. But it won't be because, he had that 5 or 6, 100 fucking step, what's the name, above me. Whereas, you got some dudes like, I've been putting in for this and that, and, I'm trying to get through to this part of my life, and it's like, well, I can't get there. I feel like, put us all on a level playing field. Because now we're going to really show y'all what we have. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, because you won't be able to ever deny us now.
Or the respect, though.
Mm-hmm.
No one's giving you anything.
No, they're not.
And you can't say we don't need money. That's not true.
No, I'm not saying we don't need. I'm saying this would help out a little bit better than just money.
But I remember, no one's going to place you on a level playing field, and no one's giving you anything.
That depends on the person.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, these are all hypotheticals.
Not one person is going to give it. This is like the whole thing. It's like you watch Black Godfather.
Yeah.
The lesson I learned from that movie, which I kind of knew already, that nobody's going to give you shit, and it's not. Reparations is not a gift. It's a repayment for things that were lost. Even when you look at what we created here.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason that you're not the face, the black face, not the face of Facebook or a telecom company, because that's a choice that's made. When Lewis Latimer created the phone and the light bulb, that's a choice that's made to put a white face on that, and it's still occurring today. So that's the things we lost, and again, no one gave us a goddamn thing, because most of the things that are worthy here, we either invented it or had a very strong hand in doing so. So it's like it's something that is owed to us.
Okay.
Definitely not a goddamn gift. Like if you work 1,000 hours at your job and somebody decides to pay you 10 years later, they're not giving you a goddamn thing. They're giving you what you owed, and they would be paying interest. So the language here is like it's owed. I mean, if you respect your ancestors and know how that affected your line going forward, like whatever happened to somebody's grandparents probably has something to do with having to your great-great-grandparents. Okay. And it's amazing that a lot of our families are intact at all. But you can't disjoint it like one had nothing to do with the other, right? So, my bad. I'll let you continue.
I get what you're saying. But at the end of the day, I'm just looking at it from this point of view for the people who were working hard and put in more than 100,000 hours of time, energy, passion, blood, sweat, and tears, and for that next person who just happened to be a white person to just move up because they just knew somebody. That's what I'm trying to get at. That's not the level playing field. at the end of the day. And let's just keep it funky. They got in because of that. It was what it was.
Protection.
And you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. That's what I meant by it needs to be level where it's like now you don't have that luxury no more. Now the best person is going to get it at the end of the day. So if you happen to be better than me in this, that's fine. That you earned that. You got that. But we shouldn't have it where I've been killing myself. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. And I'm not getting where I need to get at. You know what I'm saying? Because of whatever structure is already put in line. And that person, they ain't did shit. They just moved up. Like, hey, how the fuck did he get this? This motherfucker ain't even put in, 2% of the work that I put in. That's what I meant by as far as making a level. Not saying that, that I guess ain't nobody never worked for nothing or anything like that. It's just, it's been plenty of times where we've seen it happen where the wrong person's not getting the credit for what they actually put their heart and soul into. And that's not level at all. So it'd be nice to finally start seeing, moving forward, some of these people getting, the credit that they deserve. Some of the people being put in these positions that they definitely worked hard to get, instead of somebody else who really didn't do anything, but they're in that position because they know somebody, or they're somebody's son, or they're somebody's daughter. You know what I'm saying? That's what I meant by that. But, that's just how I'm looking at it. Like, again, it's just a hypothetical, but that's something I would like to see.
Oh, damn. You about to say some shit.
He looked like he wanted to say something.
Here's the thing. Equality, I don't think will ever be easy, but I feel that if the reparation process included business owners,
that's what I was going to go with.
Because what happens is in these big corporations, you have a lot of white people in charge, so they choose white people.
Yeah.
Hair, hip hop, we've mastered that. We've mastered entertainment to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
We can do it if we open more businesses, incorporating our own people. If we're able to become as big as Facebook, Instagram, all those things, we can become something, a force to be reckoned with in that playing field. Now, equality, if I'm black and you're my boss, you're still going to take the credit for what I do. That's not equal.
Yeah.
Because you're my boss.
Yeah.
But you, as my boss, as a black man, can now be at an equal level with another white boss.
Okay.
There's a ladder.
Yeah.
I don't think there's necessarily going to always be equality.
Yeah.
On every level, but with the reparations, considering business owners and having them probably not pay taxes on their loans or do whatever they can do to up the percentage of black business owners in big Fortune 500 companies and whatnot, that would help a lot more than just giving out checks.
I want to piggyback off what he was saying and what you were saying. I feel like maybe there's some kind of way for black people, for as far as reparations, where we could get some kind of guarantees. I think a lot of people don't get started in the small business because they might think it's too hard. A lot of people think it's hard, or they feel like white people run shit so much that it's really no point in trying. But I think if we were able to get some kind of business loan or some kind of way we could affect credit for black people as a whole, where we could get those loans, and I think that first has to start with black financial institutions to give those loans out. You know what I'm saying? So as far as if we could have some kind of black banks, or that can give loans to black people who just regular working folks who I work, but I want to take my life to the next level, and maybe I can start a corporation on my own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where I don't have to worry about a white man putting me on. I can start some shit and put my own people on, or somebody already is starting a corporation, a black man who can put me on, where it's not, of course you want the best qualified person, but hell, white people been doing it as far as, this black man is more qualified than this white man, but I'm a rock with my people.
Yeah, that's
whereas black people, we never had that kind of power to be like, this white man might be more qualified than this brother right here, but at the same time, I'm gonna rock with this brother because I know the limited opportunities and things that we went through. I'm gonna hire him anyway. You know what I'm saying? We never had that kind of power So that way we could reverse the field as far as being empowered business-wise on that level.
Well, for me, it doesn't take away from the fact that we still need education to do great.
Yeah, that's why I started with education.
Right. It doesn't take away from the fact that we can't just say, okay, I'm going to hire my friend off the street because he knows the job and he knows what to do. We still, on paper, have to look good. We still have to do good. And
Who do you have to look good for? If you got to look good for a white business owner, yeah. But if I run a business, it's still up to my discretion. I'm saying,
it is.
even if you want to hire that white man, that's what I'm saying. Just to have the power to be like, I can hire this white man. He's more qualified, or I can hire this brother because I want to rock with him. I want to give him an opportunity. That's all I'm saying. Just have that power of choice.
But we also have to do it for ourselves and for the people looking up to us.
My turn.
She's like, no.
Yeah, she's like, no, shit.
We also have to do it for the people looking up to us, looking to see what the moves we're making. We can't just say, oh yeah, well, let's hire him because whatnot. Because then people will grow up thinking, oh, I don't have to be anything, I just have to know the right people. Or I don't have to make myself anything of myself, I just have to know the right people. And people should never equate to your success. So.
What? Before you say, 1 second. Just 1 second.
Bro, you got like...
I got 30 words. Hell. For real. Here's the deal.
That's 4.
Those don't count. That's like the biggie. That's like biggie.
I hate you.
Well, all I'm saying is, okay, people, friends make businesses, right? Yeah. And that's generally how it's understood, is that who you're aligned with in politics and business does matter. So it wouldn't necessarily be a bad example. And all the things that they were saying about, black banks that are black banks and opening up and giving tax credits, that's pretty much affirmative action when you give tax credits to people who hire quote unquote minorities, right? So when we're speaking about reparations, it's a system solely for the benefit of black people. These benefits generally find their way into everybody's pockets, right? Mm-hmm. So what can solely be proportionate to us that would uplift or correct the wrongs, right? So
originally when I saw, I watched Cory Booker speak on it on CNN last night, and that's what got me thinking about it.
Shout out to
And originally when he was like reparations, I was like, at first I thought, oh, so they about to give people a check, like, because that's the only thing I ever heard about, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, nah, dog, I don't support that. And I said that because if I were on the other side, if I were the people whose ancestors were on top, okay, were on top, is on top, however you want to put it, I'm not going to pay extra shit because these motherfuckers fucked up. Like, I'm just not going to want to do it. It's not, and I didn't see how that would be beneficial in the long haul. Would it uplift black people? Sure. But to what end? We also have to live in this country. And how many people going to feel slighted because these quote unquote niggers, for lack of a better term, got a check? Like, it's going to perpetuate the divide even more so. When I thought about it from a check point of view, because I mean, if somebody's getting a check, somebody got to pay for it, and it ain't gonna be the motherfuckers getting these 6-figure salaries at the White House. Like, it ain't gonna be them, dog. It's gonna be the middle. It's gonna be the middle class and the rednecks who already feel like motherfuckers taking their jobs. Now, that's who the fuck gonna pay for it. Like, that's who the fuck gonna pay for it. So somehow, I mean,
politicians always
that's gonna lead to a second fucking civil war.
Regardless.
So when I heard that, I was like, dog, that's not it. But when Cory spoke about it, what I saw him doing was, instead of framing it around race, he framed it around those people who were socially and economically impeded, right? So he talked about and these were just, he was like, it was just ideas he was throwing out. No one has an actual plan, right? Everybody's like, well, but we're open to it. We want people to study this. We want people to figure out what's best. Like that, they want to start the conversation. But like, he was like, one thing we thought about was depending on if you're for every baby that's born into a low income home, quote unquote, they could get started with an interest-bearing savings bonds with like $2,000 in it or whatever, and then it continues to grow until they get 18, and then they can have access to it or whatever the case may or may not be. And that amount changes based on the level of income in the household. His biggest thing was, he was like, how did he say it? He was like he wanted to approach this the way that they approached law reform, legal reform, I guess, when it came to, like blah 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 blah, the disparity or the discrepancy between the time you get for cocaine versus the time you get for crack, right? You got caught selling crack, you doing like 15 easy, you know what I'm saying, for a little $10 shit, you know what I'm saying? But you get caught with coke, you gotta get caught with a nice amount to catch 15 on some coke, you know what I'm saying? And so
like pounds.
So yeah.
Kilos.
So they went in and they said, okay, well, look, let's go ahead and let's make these even. Why does it have to be like, let's make this even, and then let's also make this retroactive. And he was like, that released a lot of people out of the prison system. Of course, then they went into what's it called, parole, and so private companies were still making money, but they on the street. You gotta give some to get some. But like, he was like, he wants to attack it from a broad arena, because if you do it that way and it affects low income families, 9 times out of 10 those families are going to be Black and brown people. Yeah. So I thought that, in my opinion, that is the only way I could see that getting through Congress. I don't see there ever being enough.
I didn't understand.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah, every time you talk, my phone just listens to you. It never listens to me.
And this could just be me. That could just be my blinders on from, my biases. But I just don't ever see there being enough Black and brown people, or just Black people, in Congress for it to be enough to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this specifically for the Black people, and that's it. I don't see that passing. It has to come about in a different way. I just personally, I don't see that happening.
So here's my thing. You got to make people interested into doing all these things in general. That's the key. So like, how Darren was talking about like businesses and all that kind of stuff. It's like, you got to get people into that, to like, or in Josh was talking about like getting people into wanting to start their own business. Good?
Yeah.
You can't just like say, hey, give all these reparations out and nobody does anything with it. You know what I'm saying? You have to basically put people in that direction to where they're gonna do that kind of thing and not squander it. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way I could see us actually getting out of this rut that we're in as Black community.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're gonna go about it that way, like I said, I don't see a check happening. But if you're gonna go about it that way, it has to come with something more than that. That's like saying, oh, I want to build a house, and you give me the wood, but you don't give me no instructions or animal or nail or nothing like that. Like, there has to be more that comes with it. There has to be financial literacy training. There has to be like just basics, just the basics. Okay, there has to be that. There has to be some kind of mental health available. I mean, a lot of our generations are living in war zones.
Because like,
you give us a check, what the fuck?
Because from PTSD,
like, big time, in real life.
Because it always goes back to that saying, like, you teach a man, or you give a man fish, he'll feed for a day. But then you teach him how to fish, he'll eat forever. You know what I'm saying?
At least then it's not your
fault.
fault.
You do understand, it sounds as that Black people don't know how to fish.
No.
That's what it sounds like.
No, I'm not.
There is a significant number of Black people that don't know how to fish.
Yeah.
Significant number. We're not gonna sit up here and act like we're not gonna. If I walked up to 10 Black people on the street right here, at least 5 of them aren't gonna be financially literate, and that's not just the Black community. That's America as a whole.
That's my point. If you look at America as a whole, most people will not be able to Ask 20 people on the street, what's fiat currency, right? What is credit based on? And they will not fucking know. I don't care what fucking race they are, right? So my point is that why we gotta jump through all these hoops to get it? Even though we have been, as I started the show, we created the technologies that we use every goddamn day.
Yeah, some of us.
But not no, we did.
Yeah.
Well, every invention is one person.
Exactly.
Or five.
So all of us aren't those people. All of us don't have that brain.
But we cannot act as. But many of us have the great minds. I know many great minds that are black. So my thing is we don't necessarily. I don't feel we have to cover this topic and say as though we couldn't handle the influx of money when we have.
I feel like it's irresponsible not to speak on it.
But every year in this country, black people pay $1 trillion in taxes per year. If that was equated to most other countries alone, we'd be like number 15 just amongst ourselves. So when you look at the world and what black Americans, or if you want to call them, what you want to call them, indigenous peoples of the Americas have accomplished, it is amazing. Particularly under the circumstances. So give up what you will. The divide is always going to be here. Whether you give a 0 or whether do I think it's going to pass in Congress? No. Do I think reparations will even happen as it should happen? No. Right? But if it's going to occur, it's like single payer healthcare. It's something where we should believe in ourselves a little bit more. A lot of us are doing great things. Right? And it's like, I feel like our ancestors deserve it. They did the goddamn work. They went through what they went through. They gave out land to white people. They created suburbs. That was a gift. And all of those motherfuckers. And look at all the children of the corn shit that came out of it, right? All the motherfucking negativisms that happened. With some positives. But a lot of bad shit happened there too, right? Okay. But nobody said, well, they can't handle it because of this or that. Well, they have PTSD too. Wars upon wars upon wars, right? Just like we have some PTSD. But really, in this conversation, it's like we deserve that shit. My parents did a great fucking job. My parents owned a business, but how many of us gonna quit our goddamn jobs and can take 7 years to make a profit?
I don't want to own a business. So that's never been my goal.
I want to say this is why the first thing I said was about education as far as children, because a lot of things that you say, Joe, as far as people who invented the GPS and things that a lot of black people don't know, I think that should be basic knowledge. I mean, that we should know that we can do it, that it empowers ourselves, because it's pretty common knowledge. People think Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone and things like that. But they don't know the real history of a lot of things, or whatever. And I don't think black empowerment or black inventors, except for the select few, is common knowledge in America or in the black community. And I think things like that should be taught to us. I don't know if it'll come through reparations, but it needs to be a change in the education system where kids can look at certain things and be like, a black man did this or a black woman invented that, where they can look at it, have some kind of self-reflection, like, I can do it. There's black people who came before me who did big things. They might not have gotten the credit for it, but they still did it. And I think things like that should be just basic common knowledge where we shouldn't have to do a whole lot of research through Google or a lot of books. It just should be things that I should be able to have a common conversation with a black person, and I shouldn't have to be like, man, did you know that such and such did this and that? It should be something that already understood, because it's basic common knowledge about things that black people have done in our, in society, in America in particular. And I just think I kind of think it starts there with, as far as children can look at things as far as history and look at things that black people have done that's significant in society today to maybe, encourage them to want to do big things when they get older. That's just me.
I mean, I gotta say one quick. I agree. I agree with the ego shit, right? And knowing, but sometimes you know how somebody have a big ego and low self-esteem. Like when you just know shit or think you know shit about history, it's an ego thing, but how do you talk about your people? How do you feel about your family? How do you feel about?
Well, I don't think his thing wasn't ego. That instills a sense of pride in you. That's what he was talking about. Learn those things so it can instill a sense of pride in you.
I mean, let's keep it funky. None of us knew about Clarence Avant.
Right.
After watching that story about him, I felt proud to be a black man.
Shit like
The
that should
first
be
thing I
common
thought was
knowledge.
like, yo, what can I do to take some of the things he did and apply this to the podcast?
But pride based on your ego. I mean, when I say self-esteem, is how do you feel about your family, your father, your mother, your grandparents, your people? Like, I've been around people that know a lot about history, but don't really value themselves. Like, I'll see people at, say, events, and they'll, you know, they won't be with a black woman or man, right? But they have this ego or pride about who they are, but not high self-esteem to go along with it.
I don't think ego and pride are interchangeable in that way. I think that yes, there's pride as in hubris, but there's also pride as in I value who I am because of who I came from. There's that sense of pride as well.
Lewis Latimer makes you prideful about your people. But who's your grandfather? You understand? Who's your father? Who's your mother? That's self-esteem building.
Sometimes, but what if you don't have that in your family?
But if you don't have, that's the problem. Then you won't have high self-esteem generally. If your mother didn't love you, it don't matter if you know who the fuck invented the cell phone. What matters is PTSD comes from more of the direct lineage. Knowing about your history is an ego boost when you're out in the world. But that's why you find people saying things like they say things, because perhaps somewhere inside there's some level of, even though everybody in every culture and every race has a bunch of ne'er-do-wells, fuck-ups, and some great people, just like us. I just feel like the shit that we experience in the islands, in this country, to be where we are today, is to me an amazing feat. What race could have absorbed what we have absorbed, is what I'm saying.
We don't know because no one else had to.
I just want to say real
We don't fucking know.
But even though they didn't, even though they didn't, you still see mass murderers. You still see school shootings up the wazoo.
But that's because of the lineage that they've come from up into this point.
But that's how you know. If they had experience with
you can't say that. That's not something that you know. Because we didn't live the life that they lived. We didn't grow up in a lot of those kids. We didn't grow up the way that a lot of those kids grew up. And so therefore we're not affected by those things that same way. If we did, we can't say that we wouldn't react the same way.
Black people as a whole, bro, we're a one-on-one.
Can't do that.
I just want to say real quick about the ego pride thing. My thing wasn't about ego; it's about black pride in our area. My thing about ego, you look at white people; they might have came from a fucked up situation, but they always felt like they could do it because of things that people before them have done. We already get from society negative stereotypes and things like that. Even when you come up from a fucked up background, which adds on to the things of low self-esteem. But as long as you know people before me have probably come from fucked up situations too, and they've done it, I know I'm in a fucked up situation. If they can do it and they was in the worst situation, I know I can do it. And I think white people, this is my opinion, I don't know, they can speak to that on their own. I think them being, even if they're in a fucked up situation, they know that society in America has always benefited them no matter what they're going through. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, and black people haven't had that luxury of being looked at, for the most part, in a positive light, even if we come up from a fucked up situation because of how society views us already on things that are outside of our control or negative stereotypes or whatever. I just feel like even white people, their mother didn't love them or their father was a fucking meth head. No matter what society threw at them, they always feel like I can make it because I'm sure, it's just a society mental conditioning where they always feel like they can make it no matter what happened to them. And I don't think their esteem ever got shaken because of things that white people have done before. They have put them in an elevated position in our society, which black people never had that position of. And I just think that's the difference in, pride and ego thing. I wasn't going that route. I was just going about the pride thing.
Go ahead, Darren.
Can I say something? So I go to Jamaica at least once a year, right? And in Jamaica, all of the government, whoever, they're all black. Which brings what you're saying to truth, because if you talk to Jamaicans of our age or, in school still or whatever, they usually always have the same mindset. I'm going to become this, I'm going to become that. And then they move to America and become something great. So seeing the representation of who they've come from does help a lot. Like my aunt, she just became a judge, and now she's in Jamaica doing TV interviews and all that extra stuff because she thought she could do it, and she did it because of who was before her. So what you're saying is truth, and we don't have enough of that in America.
Put it like this. Your aunt, right? Mm-hmm. Who were her parents? Were her parents instrumental in that dream? Is family and the father in the household important in Jamaica? Far more important than here, would you say?
I feel like it's about the same because you have a lot of people in Jamaica a lot of men in Jamaica that don't take care of their kids.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people, and you have a lot of mothers in Jamaica that don't take care of their kids. You have kids on the street by themselves creating businesses because that's who they've seen before them do. That's what they've seen people do.
Yeah.
You have people with bad family lineage that can still believe they can come from something because of how Jamaica treats its people.
So is this more of an immigrant story? Because, like, I heard this a lot where people come from other places and then come here. And there are reasons why that would appear to happen.
Right.
And then it becomes this sort of divide where if you have Africans come here or West Indians come here or Asians come here, they seem to hit the ground running.
Right.
Right? Because they don't have the...
I don't think it's an immigrant story, though. I don't think it's just... Right. I think that's the narrative. I think that's the narrative, but I don't think it's just an immigrant story. Just knowing my story and the people that I came up with, not a lot of us have a lot of people to look back on our lineage and be like, oh, yeah, well, this person did this and this person did that and blah, blah, blah. Like, not to put down my family, you know what I'm saying? But because I love my family and I learned some shit from my family, but it's fucked up. But what made a difference for me was the elementary school that I went to. Because when I walked down the hall, I saw black faces. Yeah. I didn't see... they didn't even teach us who all the presidents were. They didn't care. Like, it wasn't important at that school. Like, we didn't have the white man who did this, the white woman who did. We didn't have none of that. When we were standing, I remember we sat in the halls and we saw nothing but black faces and what they were known for. And that made a difference.
Community. What builds the person.
It does, because my even the first time I ever had a paper published, I'll never forget this. I was in 4th grade. I was just writing. That wasn't even something I liked to do. I just did it. Published, hit the newspaper. Next thing you know, the newspaper's like, oh, we want you to do another one, or we want you to do an article for all of that, because that's not connections my mom had. My mom was a BC student. My dad dropped out of school. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? None of my grandparents on either side went to school. But because the teachers who knew us, because they supported us, because they did all those things and they believed in us, it gave us it gave us self-esteem. It gave us a sense of pride because they believed in us. They knew that we could do it.
I agree. Look, I'm not saying that pride or having ego is not important. And I'm not saying that a greater society that has, where you see black people doing great things, there is an important component to that. There also is an important component to your immediate family. Because somebody can have, like, for example, the countries that you speak of that come here and do great things also have the greatest amount of bleaching, right? Yeah. Which is an indication to me that even though they can come here and do great things, there's a self-esteem about their blackness that's lacking. Right. That we don't have here in America as much as in most of the other islands. The skin consciousness does not exist on this level. Well, so what I'm saying is that when I look at people that, really Afrocentric people, when you really break down what they're about, like most, I'm not saying not everybody, most Hotep chicks have white boyfriends, right? That's just my experiences, just going around, right? Because they're dealing with the ego, and it makes you feel good, but when you dig down deep of what you really believe, blacks as a whole. Now I'm not, because my father was an immigrant, and my mother was here for hundreds of years, our family, far back as I can count. So they had their families look different.
Right.
It's like when you're an immigrant, you either did great shit, it's not a lot of middle ground, right? It's like you did something great, a lot of public servants, civil servants, and the like. My mother's family, you know, gangsters. Some people did great things, but a lot of them coming up at that point in the 30s and 40s were gangsters when they were coming up. So I saw this differentiation in how they were raised, where an immigrant to me could live in the same poverty line, but because of what's instilled in them, can go through that poverty line. Like an African, they don't even look at it. It doesn't touch them. Like, oh, you're this, you're gonna die. You don't see Africans in protest marches unless it's the African that dies, right? It's like it don't touch them. It's like I'm way above all this shit. It doesn't even apply to me. But when you were from here, it seems to apply to you and it hits you differently. And that's just some two different ways I saw people think.
Right.
Like I grew up thinking that a lot of shit doesn't apply to me. Like I really didn't think like that. But I still had this watching Tarzan movies such experience and watching all this shit that in your subconscious dials down your true sense of who you are. Even though I've always known we did great things. I saw my father he was a great man. But it didn't mean that deep down inside, do I like my black self when I'm surrounded by white people though?
Right.
There's difference. As just opposed as my white counterpart. Do I feel the same when I'm the only one in the room? So once I saw myself and the only one in the room, I realized that my self-esteem wasn't as high as I thought. Because anybody can feel prideful with a bunch of black people around, right? How about taking yourself out, and how do you feel as the only one in the room, right? So,
well,
Okay.
what you said about the bleaching and all that, I think, yes, I understand what you're saying or where you're trying to go with that. But black Americans do the same thing. They're just not, they don't bleach. It's the same concept. Like, it's in the little things they say. Like, you go to a rich neighborhood, oh, this is a white neighborhood. And I've heard ample people say that. But why does it have to be a white neighborhood? Why can't it be just a neighborhood or a black neighborhood? But what you were saying about the way you feel when you're the only one in the room, do you mean like with just white people or just in...
I mean, not now at this age, when I was younger.
Right.
Like, growing up, same thing, like my school, black principal, everything was named after Dr. Daniel Williams, who was the first person to perform open heart surgery who was black. The hallways were filled with black faces, and in the middle of the projects. But so I had this esteem, and we read all the books that you had to read as a young child. But when I was taken, say in third grade, and I was around people, and I was listening to what they were talking about. Like when I went on a bus tour with my mother in third grade, and it was like just us, and the only black people there was us. So as they're riding, taking a trip down the East Coast, and as I'm hearing what they're saying, what they're talking, it's all about lineage, where your last name came from. That was like a really big topic to them. That I remember that as an 8-year-old, and I realized that they saw us a certain way, and I didn't see myself that way, but you're surrounded by it, right? So it gives you it instructs you a certain way. So as you get older, you realize that you can have pride about something, but when tested, how do you respond to that under different circumstances? Right. Like, how do you respond to it in the little things that you say, right? I just know I met no good motherfucking people of all races, and I just look at people as people. Right. So we get money, or they get money, we gonna do the same shit they do. Right. They fucked money up. They had a Great Depression. They motherfucking kill people. We kill people. I don't see a difference. At all.
Mm.
They do drugs. We do drugs.
Sometimes.
We got ain't
But
shit.
black men don't cheat.
We got
I don't cheat.
and black men don't cheat.
We don't do that
We
shit.
just-
Come on, let's go. We don't do that. Shit.
No, I mean, I'm not. When I was talking about the mental health and all those things, it's not to say that
Sure.
our people don't know what to do or can't do it or whatever the case may or may not be. But if we're going to talk about it, don't just hand me a check. If we have the option, give me more. Why not? If it's an option, you know what I'm saying? Like, give me more. Because I mean, in like what the stride that we made, absolutely, it's amazing. Like I've read numerous stories about black American men and women who came out of slavery, didn't know how to read, didn't know how to write, didn't know how to do nothing, and became prominent business people. You know what I'm saying? Like, killed the game, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I know that's where we come from, but I also know that in the generations that I've come into contact with, especially in the younger generations, and tutoring and in being in the community, and not all the communities, just Macon, Georgia. That's it.
Yeah.
These babies don't dream. Like, they don't have when you were younger, if somebody said, what kind of car you want? Niggas would be like, man, I want a Lambo, or I want this. And you'd be like, oh man, like a Lambo. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would talk about stuff like, I'm gonna have a big old house. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. You ask these kids what they want to do, and they'd be like, oh shit, I'll probably just work at McDonald's. Well, where you want to live at? Shit, I'll probably stay with my mama. That's... Do you want to stay there? I mean, shit, why not? Like, it's literally like I met grown men who literally have never dreamed about being anything ever, like ever, and that part, that's scary to me. Like, I can't see them get, like, you don't have a dream. You ain't aspiring to nothing. What you gonna do with a check?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
give them some type of identity.
Something.
Yeah,
That's not to say that that's all. That's not to say that that's the entire black population, but
Yeah.
that's scary
Same,
to
but
think
it's
about. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's scary. So these babies need some more. They need something.
never dream little foots.
They need something.
Yeah, I got
Well,
a dream.
and I think that comes from inexperience too, because if you've never seen anything, you don't know anything.
Yeah, but we got Google now, and
We got
all the
Google.
babies have a
We
phone.
Yeah, but you got internet.
Yeah, but
Yes,
the,
Does everybody have internet?
all the
That's
babies
the
got a phone.
What's the
But
number one?
just
You gotta
like
go
me,
to the
if all I've seen is like rap videos and all that extra stuff, and that's not what type of life I want to be a part of, then that's what you can expect. But if they don't go out and explore the world and see what's out there for everybody,
Mhm.
they won't have anything to be ambitious about.
Well,
Okay.
I'm getting kind of hungry. I don't know about y'all.
I was say I kind of
Wait,
feel like
I'm getting old.
I feel like that's a stopping point.
Yeah. Leave that.
We tackled a lot. Definitely a lot tonight. I gotta figure out what the hell I'm gonna name this shit.
Oh,
That should be easy.
PSA. Some more bad news.
Some more.
Don't be
bad-
surprised.
What's bad news? That's fine.
No,
It's some
no,
bad
he's
news.
not talking about that's the name of it. He's just saying
Some bad news.
Oh.
What?
I don't know if y'all know. Might be going to war, y'all. I hope not.
Woohoo!
But Trump
I don't watch it.
authorized a
With who?
military strike with Iran.
Oh shit, we ain't never left there.
Yeah, I'm not worrying about that.
We thrive in war
China, we
anyway.
need war.
Yeah, exactly.
Our
China,
economy
we get draft,
thrives in war.
I hope it don't go there. I'm just saying. The only reason I say that because I don't want to see
You said it's
young
going to
men and
draft?
women going out there.
Oh.
They need one.
Come
Yeah, because they let a lot of people
A
go.
billion people?
They let a lot of people
China,
go.
you need a draft.
China, we need.
I broke my wrist once.
Well, I got ovaries, so.
All right, fuck all that.
Don't be
It's
Don't
gonna
be
be
shit
the
no
last
more.
NBA draft.
I know.
So
Oh, this could be like, I don't know, first draft reparations, first round reparations.
reparations. Yeah,
Something like that.
not bad actually.
We'll decimate.
6 degrees of reparations.
China?
That's amazing. They have nuclear.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, you said going?
They have nuclear
No one's
weapons.
going to war with China. First of all, they got too many
Nah,
fucking
hell,
people.
ain't nobody gonna-
Damn.
And they got,
Oh, shit, stop watching movies,
they are
man.
not afraid to kill everybody. Like,
The problem.
What are you talking about?
Man, watch too much Red Dawn.
The problem with it fucking with Iran.
God damn it!
real quick.
I'm trying to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm trying to go. I'm hungry.
I
She give me the munchies, man. I'm on that CBD.
You gonna get tested.
Hey, guess what I say to that?
I hate him.
Go ahead, Joe.
0%. It's that you kind of fucking with China and Russia at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And we don't. That ain't gonna happen. That's the whole point. So that's why I'm like, I don't even know why I said
Trump
that.
has no
So.
fucking attention.
Yeah.
But
So.
whatever. Like I said, this was a dope ass episode. We talked about a lot.
Star awarded.
I ain't this shit.
That was good.
But you know,
Best topic.
this was episode 104. And it was your boy Sean, Mr. NJ Brick City. Oh, Darren, you ain't gonna say. Okay, he ain't gonna say shit.
Oh, I mean,
No.
I can.
You gotta come up with a.
Now he's like on Instagram there.
Sir Jamaica.
There you go, Sir Jamaica.
Just Kia.
All right.
The episode's done, Joe.
Are we still recording?
Damn.
For now.
The draft. Okay, the NBA draft was today. Most black people who become millionaires, when do they become millionaires? After the age of 50, for the most part. I mean, you become a million. So it's about longevity and doing your thing over time and surviving out here. That's what most of us who become millionaires become millionaires. So
No,
Look, why y'all doing
not
it?
true.
not for me.
That's right.
What do you mean?
You're gonna be
Look,
a millionaire
man.
for 50. That's what he's saying.
Look at now.
Fuck that 50 shit, man.
That's good, but I'm saying most people who are it's about the marathon, not the sprint.
Hashtag RP
Not the sprint. All right, so Joe Cool.
I hate you so much for that. He ain't shit.
Ain't it hard to work?
Dramatic pause.
Exactly.
I don't know about you, but I'm unreal fiction.
Oh God. Are you done?
Yeah.
Shout out to a job from up in the sky. And, this was the UNFAMOUS Podcast. Well, holla at y'all later. All right? Thank you for listening. Peace.
Ow.
I hate all y'all motherfuckers so much. Y'all ain't shit, yo.
I wasn't.
Y'all fuck with my nerves so bad.
You might want to kill that shit.
No, I can't.
Y'all be fucking